Like a little eight-bay house. Monday night.
Yes, it is.
Back at it. At world headquarters of the Armchair Chirpers on 155 Erie Street in Stratford at Reboot Repair. Dylan and Cam will take care of all your computer needs, IT needs. They do
it all.
They do it all.
They fixed the general cell phone on Saturday for him.
Just for fun. Yeah, absolutely. I really like this time of year in sports in general. There's all sorts of different things. You know, there's the baseball playoffs coming up. There's hockey starting up. There's all sorts of great stuff. And especially on this show, you know, we sent Tim off from Stratford 2 weeks ago. He was going back to work in St. Louis as assistant general manager. We had Clarkie in last week, hockey up operations for the Warriors. And this week, we have Stratford's other senior team of the OSHL.
Got her.
Stratford
Super Hockey League.
Ontario Super Hockey League, the Stratford Fighting Irish.
Good ring.
Very nice. Yes, we're grateful that we have Coach GM of the Stratford Irish back with us, Mr. Jamie Petrie. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Great to be back.
And we're also blessed to have the new host of Irish TV and the in-game analyst, Mr. Brian Hawley. Better known as Last Minute Larry, but there's no last minutes with you anymore, brother.
Plenty of notice this time. Thanks, guys. I'm happy to be back, and thanks for having me.
It's great having you guys back, and obviously a friend of the show, returning guests. And, you know, we really want to get into it with you guys, and there's so much going on. There's always so much building that, Jamie, you do with your team, and, you know, you're going into season 4. And it seems every year when you end off and you're a fan like us, you see and you go, wow, it's a great product. It's a great brand. They're bringing all this stuff. You know, you're the type of guy that goes, oh, yeah, we're doing all right. I mean, you brought it up another level this year. So these are some of the things that we're going to talk about with you this evening, and we're really excited to get into it. So,
thank you. Can I, Clarkie, friend of the show last week, he said that I need to mix in a salad, and I kind of look like Santa Claus. So what I did, fellas, to start off, I brought
love
some
it.
presents.
Love it.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Thank you. Look
All
at these.
right. Look at that.
Look at these.
We even got Larry Love something.
Oh, my.
And then
Nice.
next is, these are courtesy of our friends from Miller Lite.
Wow.
oh my gosh.
So Merry
it's
Christmas
Very
from
nice.
Santa.
Very nice.
Christmas
Holy
in
moly.
September.
Should we thank you or Clarkie for the
Well,
idea?
Clarkie pushed me.
That is awesome.
Love
Thank
it.
you.
I love
No
it.
You know
problem.
what? We're working on sponsorship with Molson's as we
we're
speak.
here,
So
yeah. Well, Merry Christmas, guys.
thank you. Thank you.
From
That's
Santa.
fantastic.
That's
Santa
fantastic.
pie.
Come bearing gifts. I mean, you're going to have
Right?
to come back again. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
That's awesome.
I don't have the pillow on. This is real.
But
That's all pie, baby.
I love it.
and
Love it.
just to reiterate, it's so great having you guys here, and we're looking forward to a great season for you guys. So, without further ado, I mean, let's get into it. Where do you want to start, Razor?
Well, not to bring up old warts, but man, like you guys ended up finishing your season not the way that you wanted to. You obviously went to the boardroom and went, okay, what do we got to do to not only beat Alvinston, which everybody thought was going to walk through and win it, and all of a sudden Tillsonburg said, whoa, wait on here. We got something to say. So kind of take us back after you guys lost in Game 7 there in the semis to where you guys went, okay, this is what we got to do to reload and become the champions like we were a year previous?
Yeah, it wasn't 24 hours after we lost that I personally had to do a reset. I sent out a video to our players last night to get them set for the year, kind of expectations, so on, and I mentioned it. I did a piss poor job last year. There was a little odor that crept into our culture, and I don't want to sit here and overanalyze this age demographic, but there's a lot of money, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of people that put into this, and the players choose to play in this league. They do not choose to go play beer league right away, so there is some expectations. I personally didn't think Alvinston would walk through it. I don't think we got beat. I think we lost, and I think there's a difference. I will give Alvinston their due. They're a decent club, but to me, we didn't show what we were undisciplined. And again, all that stuff starts with me. I allowed some stuff to come in, and you hit me off hard with this one, but I knew we'd get into it. No,
Right.
Very disappointed. Absolutely disappointed. And we expect to go to the finals every year, and I don't want to knock off Tilsonburg here because they obviously wrapped it up, but we beat Tilsonburg 7 games in a row. So our players are like, and I'm not saying, for any Tilsonburg fans out there, I'm not saying we would have caked. That's not what I'm saying. But we felt very confident and fair that we could compete against Tilsonburg. It was Alvinston a bit, but no, I think we lost. I don't think we got beat. We beat ourselves. And I could go on and on, but we're up game 2, we're up 3 goals. We start taking penalties. It's again, I'm going to put this on me. So we've tried to change a little bit of the narrative. We have a real good culture, but we've brought in some players that there's a compete, there's accountability, and we hope that better things are going. The league's good. The league is there's some real good players, and Alvinston's one of those teams, and Tilvinston, but Tilsonburg. What we have right now is we have a good core to start, and we will add. And that was part of the video last night too. 100% we have irons in the fire, and there will be some guys that are on our roster right now that won't be on it at the end. But very long-winded, not happy at all.
No, well, understandably. Like in full disclosure, for those that maybe don't know Pi the way that I do, like I was blessed to play not only with Pi but with Tim Taylor, and I'll be the first one to say the 2 guys that I played with in my short career, the 2 most competitive guys, number 1, Tim Taylor, number 2 is you. Not only just in junior Pi, but like even when we played City League after it was all said and done, like Pi, your compete level is like next level, whereas where most guys are thinking about going downtown after, like I just loved your energy, and it just basically you would put everyone on your back. So it doesn't surprise me that within 24 hours you're already on this.
I was mad, and that compete meter. Yeah, I've changed over the years where I'm not two-handing my stick over class or something like that. There's a tad bit grown up. Listen, I still play once a week Scrabble with my father, and we're chirping each other over words that I don't think that are legit. So, and that compete thing, like you can talk to Clark, you can talk to Willie, you can talk to other coaches, and all you guys have coached too before. Like, I don't think you can teach compete, but I certainly believe it can be contagious in a room, and we have some of those guys
Creating a culture.
Yeah, 100%. So our first year, I'd run around town and say, well, a banner at the end of the year isn't the be all and end all, and that's right, because we wanted to get entrenched in the community and stuff that we'll talk about. But now, once you get there, and once you ice a decent hockey club. No, I'm not going on and on, but it was 24 hours. About the 25th hour, got a phone call from Grand Brulot, and it was a half-hour call. And it was an interesting call. It was a very serious call. And he had already snapped, and he said, let's go. And, so, yeah, again, not to get hoaxy over this age demographic, it's semi-pro hockey we look at. That's what we call it, and we think we're a pretty big deal in town, and we're not happy we lost.
Well, because we can all allude, I embraced you guys last year. The first couple of years, I was still working for the city, working at the arenas. I got to be honest, the last place I usually prefer to go when I'm not working is to the arena. But when I ended up calling it a day there last December, and I was looking for something to do, and I went to one of your games, and I'm going, holy shit, like this is a lot of fun. Like the energy was contagious.
It's fun, all right.
And we started creating, through trial and error, our area, which is now going to be the Armchair Chirpers zone behind the visitors goalie, just started evolving, and it was contagious because it's a different demographic than Friday night junior Bs. And I'm not saying right, wrong, whatever, but you go there and you see people of a demographic of 35 to 55 predominantly, very few children running around, and you're seeing people that are there, having a good time, having a couple of drinks, watching good hockey with guys. Like you said, you hit the nail on the head. They could go and play beer league. They choose not to.
We always thought the hockey would take care of itself, and I've said, this, I say at this age level, age demographic, I hate using that word senior, but let's just call it that. They hadn't been a team since 1982. And when they did have it here in 82, it was different.
Yep.
It was your 30-year-old guy, he was drunk, and there was fights.
Yep.
And that couldn't be further from the truth right now. And I do want to say something about the Friday night thing. The Friday night, love them. I love
Absolutely.
Willie. I love Clarkey.
Yep.
But it is different.
It's a different atmosphere.
And one, the hockey's different, but it should be. It's a guy that's former junior college, university, and ex-pro player, so it should be. The average age is 26. But the other thing is we do try to put on a little different atmosphere. And one of our new players that we'll talk about, Jared Nash, he was at a couple of our games in the playoffs, and his father said this to me in the offseason. He said, "Pa," he goes, "I brought a couple of people to the game, and I looked after the first period, and he goes, I feel like I'm at a buck and dough."
Yeah.
And
Could-
that...
They would stop down and talk to us
Right.
down at the end, right? Because honestly, where we stand,
Yeah.
it's pretty hard to miss us and pretty hard to get through to the bar. That's strategic because people walking by, they leave drinks on the ledge there, right? And
Les, was Razor's first game the $3 drink? Where
It
you were
was.
absolutely
It
committed?
was.
'Cause
It was.
that
Hey,
hooked
I'm
up.
no dummy.
No,
I'm no
thank you very
dummy.
much, Les, for bringing you on board, Razor.
yeah, that
He didn't
that
pay for a drink
$3
all night.
that $3 promotion night. Man, I still don't know what happened in the second period.
We
there.
don't even...
There was a turning point. I don't know what Les is talking about. But
Yeah,
it
'cause
was,
you don't remember
we
either.
kept going and going, and then Clarkey showed up and brought a case tray full of beers, and I'm like, "Oh, where are you going with that?" He goes, "Right here. This is for you guys." And I go, "Oh my God."
It's great. Jeff
We'd be
Morris, who's our
standing.
game day guy, he says, Jamie, don't call that $3 night anymore. We call it the Les Vader.
Because we stand up there at the end and we're turned around talking, watching it, and then I turn around, there'd be 6 beers on the ledge there, right? And we're looking around. Where did they come from? No clue. Oh well, they're cold, so we just keep drinking.
Clarity juice.
Yeah.
I said to Mo this summer when I saw him at the Almond, and I said, "Mo, is that $3 drink still going on this season?" He goes, "No, Razor, we can't do that." He goes, "It's going to be $4." And I go, oh, okay.
Hurt my feelings with $4.
We are happy with the $5 one. We might go 4, but you know what? And we're going to get into other things. But the one thing that we have said since day one, we don't want people, all joking aside, we don't want people to lose their mortgage
Right.
to come watch us.
Fair.
There's a budget.
Yeah.
There's a big budget to
Sure.
pay for our team, but we don't feel that you guys have to take a small fortune to come be entertained.
Well, and the thing about it is, and with your focuses of, being alert to the budgets of the fans that come and so on, is great. But it's so much more than that. A lot of the time, what I hear is the hockey's great. The in-between periods with the events that go on that include the crowd, the pizza boxes going into the certain sections, and it's such an entertaining brand that you've created that people are really recognizing. And I think that goes full disclosure of why, I think you would understand, and Razor has brought it up a few times, you really got to win in this town if you want eyes on you. And you guys created that.
Yep.
But the beauty of it is you're going to have people following your journey. They're not just going to show up in the playoffs because they've been so impressed with your brand and your product on the ice.
I think there's two different fans. I think the 5 guys sitting here, we can go watch hockey, and we don't need all the bells and whistles.
Nope.
But there's also that fan that maybe just came because it was what Razor was talking about, and now they're hooked on like to me, with all due respect, I don't really care why you're there. It's then once you're there is to come back and invest it. And I think Mo brought this up on the weekend, Jeff Morris, that because we have similar returning players and guys, people can get accustomed. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but you can get used to that name. And then we're not rolling over the roster all the time. And that is a problem in this age group. But some people can get accustomed to those names. So I think it's a little bit of everything. But no, we're happy with our product. And again, like I said earlier with the senior, guys aren't drunk. Guys aren't fighting.
No.
There is compete, and there is some guys that can handle, and some people still like that. But that's not how we're going to sell our product.
No. One of the more remarkable promotions that you guys have going on, I wasn't sure if I read it properly, and so full disclosure, when we were talking to sponsors and stuff, it doesn't take a whole lot of thought to go, okay, well, who are you guys already talking to? And so you were kind enough to give me Patrick's name from Domino's Pizza. Him and I go out for a coffee and introduce ourselves. And I said, Patrick, I got to ask you one question. He goes, what's that? And I said, is that true? Like every time that the Irish score 6 goals at a home game, you're going to hand out a free pizza to every fan? He goes, absolutely. And I'm like, I said to him, well, you realize like there was over 1,000 fans there, during the playoffs. And he goes, yeah, I know. I just want to get as many pizzas in people's hands as possible. Unbelievable.
He's amazing. And the kicker is our first game, everyone gets a free pizza anyway. So if we go 6 the first game, Patrick, thank you, buddy. But I will comment. I know a lot of people, I don't want to hog it, but with you guys are going to announce in some of our ideas and partnerships and stuff. That's the way it works.
Yes.
We share and
lead with value.
Well, why wouldn't I bring up the great people we have? And Patrick's an example. He's been with us since day one, and he sees the vision and the,
sure.
I think he obviously sees the value.
Absolutely.
But no, great guy. But I think there's going to be a lot of pizza floating around. I hope.
Right? Oh my God! Like
he has to know that too, right? Yeah. Like especially being with you since day one, he understands how the scores can get a little bit out of control with all the offense in the league.
Yep.
We have great goaltending, but there's a ton of offense in the league too, right?
And we're doing 2 of those nights where every fan gets a pizza. So if we bang it on those both nights, like he's gonna have to put some extra.
Oh, so it's not every game. It's
no. Sorry, no. Every game, if we score 6 or more, you get free pizza.
Every home game.
Yeah. But there's 2 out of the 12 home games where, when you show up, you get a free pizza anyways.
Oh
so,
my!
So there's a double dip there, and you talked about the pizza boxes. We have a great new game day host, Paula Robinson, just a hoot. She's gonna be awesome. She's gonna elevate our game day host production tenfold, and part of it is throwing empty boxes in the stands. And what I laugh about, because sometimes in a stoppage of play, I look over and there's a 50-year-old guy elbowing a guy to grab a free box, and then we deliver it. And she delivers.
That's
a
true
pizza.
story.
So it is. It's awesome. So that's just part of it.
Was that the one where Razor did it, or was that another guy?
I see Les falling down the steps.
It
might have been the beer or the elbow to the head.
No, we just told them they had to throw it to us. They had to throw it to us. We weren't going after it.
That's awesome. Well, like, and I said to Patrick, I said, hey, like, what can we do to bring value to Domino's Pizza? To get him on with the Armchair Chirpers. And he goes, get as many pizzas into hands as possible.
Yep.
And so then that's why, we ended up coming up with, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, boom, take a screenshot, come in and see Jeff or the guys here at Armchair or at Reboot. Yeah. And you get a free large 3-item pizza.
And sorry to interrupt you, Razor. I just wanted to say to all the listeners this evening, or even the subscriptions that we have, I have to be honest. I've seen 4 people come into the barber shop to get your complimentary pizza. Guys, we really encourage you to do that, because we're very, very thankful that you've taken the time to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So please take advantage of that. It's never a problem. And you can come into the Urban Barber, or you can come and see Cam and Dylan at Reboot Repair, where we're broadcasting from tonight.
They're just down a couple of doors from where the Urban Barber is, same plaza.
Yeah.
Domino's Pizza. I'll add this to stickers on both our helmets.
Yeah.
We have the
Nice.
best seats. We've got some stuff happening with Patrick and
And I'll
Domino's.
just take it to one more step with your generosity, Pi, is you've dropped off Armchair Chirper branded complimentary tickets that we're going to be distributing among Stratford Irish fans. So I'm going to go one above and say if you come in and get your pizza, please feel free to ask for complimentary tickets from the Armchair Chirpers, courtesy of Jamie Petrie of the Stratford Fighting Irish. Thank you for your generosity for that. It's
Fantastic.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible, Pi.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate
Listen,
that.
one of the, I've known all you guys and Halser for a long time, and one thing, Burrs, is we started up our relationship with Urban Barber, but when you guys did this, and I said, you put your heads out there. There's a lot of people that can chirp and think they can do it. I personally couldn't do it, but you guys put your heads out there, and you got a good following. So for us, not to get sappy here, but it's a no-brainer for our organization to get in bed with you,
Yep.
so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, they
so-
wanted it was the two of them that started it, and
Yeah.
they were looking for a guy to boost ratings, but he was busy, so then they settled on me instead. So,
You know what the
know,
thing
it's-
about it is too, Pi, is, Les and I wanted to take this to another level, and that was introducing Razor and introducing guests and so on, and you two have been a huge part of that. You remember the first one you were at.
Yeah.
We were sitting around my little desk, and you're like, okay, well, whatever works. Like, you didn't say no. You could have said no. You could have said, guys, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
But
you guys have been doing great. And
we've
this setup here.
Well, and I guess we'll kind of lead into this right now because we're kind of on the topic. But again, your generosity full circle with the opportunity that you've given the podcast this season at your home games. You've literally awarded us an Armchair Chirper fan zone.
Can't
It's
wait.
unbelievable.
unreal.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we're super excited.
Well,
It'll be fun.
It goes.
To be clear, it was already there.
Yeah. It was there before the podcast
The
was
Armchair
there.
fan zone was already there, guys. I mean, like Les said, you can't walk by there without rubbing elbows with one of you three idiots, and
Wow.
that was just the way it was. Even when I'm doing the games in between periods, I'm not going I go and.
Well, you'd
maybe
come
get a
over.
coffee.
You
Well, I
you
gotta
would come over
and
and you'd be chatting
we'll
with
be
us.
talking
And
about what happened in
absolutely.
that period, whatever.
Yeah,
so
it was
I look forward to
awesome.
that. I hope you guys will be on the air or recording or something like that because
Oh.
in
To a
those 10
certain
minutes when
point.
I'm supposed to actually shut up, I always come over and end up talking to you idiots. So.
I just
been a
don't know
blast.
if we could do a live from an
you
Irish
do it-
game
hey,
because
you do
it could get
whatever you
messy.
want.
It could get messy.
It could get messy.
Yes.
I will
Yeah.
say for us, and again, it isn't just Jamie Petrie. There's 19 people that chime in on IDs and all that, but for us, it's a no-brainer. You're right. It was already there, and the best. And again, the best selling is from your heart. You just said you'd missed some games at the first couple of years because you were busy. Now at 7:00, I think it's going to be better for you, Burrs, but for the work
Yeah.
thing. But you guys were there, so why wouldn't we get together on
Yeah.
this? Because you guys already believe
Yeah.
in it. So let's.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
Oh, I
the logo.
can't wait. I
Super
can't wait.
pumped.
It's gonna be
super pumped.
The logo, and I hope you guys got people
I don't
coming
know.
by.
I don't know how
stopping
much
by.
Red Flanagan's gonna like it sitting in front of us because he always goes by. Are you gonna be at it again tonight? Last night. Yes, Red, I am.
But what's
But he
great
loves it. He
about
loves
it,
it.
the thing I love about like our area is that it's like a wide demographic.
Yeah.
We've got women there, like we've got Cheryl Fountain, with John and her dad Lauren, and we've got all sorts of people that just love being.
I think
in
that
the
was one of the
area.
cool things last year because Founts and Cheryl usually stand with us, among other people, Shanker and Randy Flanagan
Yeah.
and all of them. But I love the fact that Lauren, if he can, usually has a beer with us
Yeah.
in a period, which
Absolutely.
is great. Yeah,
It's
so
super
good.
cool.
What's
Yeah.
cool is that probably doesn't feel the norm if they don't.
Yeah,
got a-
yeah, exactly.
We got a gawker at the window walking
Yeah.
by.
Yeah, we
Jeez.
just
Yeah.
ignore those people.
Yeah.
If
All
you
right.
look too long, he'll start licking the windows. So
Let's get back to the hockey product pie.
Yes.
So you don't rebuild, you retool.
Right now, yes. I
You know,
would
so
say that's fair.
you've brought some new faces onto the team.
Yep.
You've brought a Devin Didiomidi, big name,
Yep.
great guy, great hockey player. He's going to be a part-time.
Yeah, Deeds will be part time. Like he's been out skating with us, and listen, Deeds is he's put in his time.
Yeah.
But he's still got that little bit of that compete thing. But he also thinks you know, he has some young kids who probably hasn't seen him play much.
Yeah.
Deeds isn't going to go on the road much, and I'm not going to hassle him. Maybe come playoff time, we'll nudge him a little bit. But no, if we can scratch that itch that is still left for Deeds, perfect. And in return, some people that have never seen this gorilla play, you know, he's going to go up and down his wing. He's still got a real good shot, and he'll add something. And like he said, he hadn't played in the Willie for a long time, and we'll never have a full Stratford team. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But is it nice to have some hometown boys? 100%.
For sure.
And for those of you who don't know, Devin Diodimidi, he just finished off his pro hockey career in Romania last year. He's played over in Europe and a few other places for the majority of his career, and has had a really nice portfolio.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And you've brought back Mitch Casey, which he was a fan favorite.
I don't know how you can't like Mitch.
Yeah.
Right.
Halser. I'll let Halser speak to some of this, but Mitch provides he's stability on the back end as far as he's got an offensive. He's pretty agile, but again, talk about that compete. You know, right off the bat after those 24 hours, and okay, what do we have to bring? I did not bring back some guys who have played Major A, so that just didn't fit into. To me, they were
They were mailing it in.
100%.
Really?
Good people.
And Pi, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's
people.
fair, and I respect the fact that you're honest with yourself, and you're honest, especially with your team that you ice.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't have that commitment, it shows, and you know that through your career, through the teams that you've iced over the years, it shows. So the fact that you've had to make some decisions, I can completely agree with you on that.
They're tough, and I've said this to players. I've coached Junior B and Junior A, Tier 2, and stuff. I find this to be tougher. And what I mean by that is you still have relationships with Junior B and Tier 2 kids, the 16 to 20-year-olds, but it's different. These guys here, some of them are your friends.
Right.
And it is tough to say, I don't want you back. You know, again, it wasn't that abrupt.
Sure.
But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to move on. And a couple players that played on our championship team, but I just thought it was better. One, that we had a little older, and
I like that term. Like it's respectful.
Yeah.
it's best to you guys can go possibly play somewhere else, or maybe it's beer league for you guys because you just don't seem to have the left.
Which is fine, right? Because
Sure
some
it
guys
is.
are at a different stage of their life. Like some guys have young families. Like, Deeds has 2 young
Yeah.
kids, right? He doesn't want to be going on the road,
Deeds won't be
and-
in Petrolia this Friday.
Exactly. So I respect that. And then you've got guys like Jared Nash, that hometown boy, like, Mitch. And I'm sure he's like chomping at the bit to play in front of his parents again after being up in Alaska and, being out of town for a long time.
If people haven't watched Jared Nash play, when he played for the Warriors, he's even better now. I did watch him play, but you talk about the compete. If he's not a fan favorite, I'm going to crop my pants. I said that
That's
guy.
a safe bet, Pi.
Yeah, that there's sometimes when you take a toy away from someone, and they get it back. So he went to school, and I believe it was New Zealand, to get his teachers college and go through that, and then he's went on to that next career. But he is so freaking pumped, so motivated, and he was at some of those games in the playoffs. And
Yeah, I saw him there.
And you talk. I said earlier, I said the less of Jamie Petrie's voice, the better. And when you have guys like him, Ray Robbins, Graham Brulot, other people that are leading the truck.
That have played here on Friday
Yes,
nights,
yeah.
right? You don't have to sell it.
No, and
They're going, wow, I miss playing at the Allman on a Friday night. Now I got to go to Saturday night, right?
I think the biggest compliment you can give a player is you look like a hockey player. Jared Nash, one handsome devil, but he looks he's a hockey player.
Yeah.
He
and
is. He is.
I can't wait to work with him more.
Yeah.
Awesome. And a local.
It's going to be great to see that flourish, because I know that you have his full commitment, which is what you ask for, and it's a heavy ask, but it's necessary.
Yeah,
so it's good, right?
Again, there's concessions made, and
Of course.
But if you Deeds is the exception, like for sure. He's not going to be on the road a whole lot, but most of these guys we play a 24 game schedule. We expect you to play minimum 20.
Yeah.
If not, this isn't for you. Now there will
Yep.
be some part-time guys, when we go all the way to say Orangeville
Or like Tilbury.
and Tilbury, there's going to be a different lineup. But the one thing I wanted to get concentrate more this year is let's not worry about who's not there. Let's worry about who's there.
Right.
And we'll let the chips fall where they may.
Well, because I guarantee you that, the guys that don't know Deeds, they're going to love him in the dressing room. Like, once they get to meet him and talk to him and hang out with him and stuff. But for the guys that may be feeling sour going, well, crepes, I got to hop on, the bus or drive down to wherever on a cold winter's night, they're going to be thanking their lucky stars that he's on their team come the playoff time, right?
Well, you bring up a point with Deeds. So I've talked to Deeds since this was just a thought, the Irish, and I'm going back for one more year, and you should. Like, I don't need to tell Deeds what to do.
Sure.
He didn't listen to me, but sure. But I said, go as long as you can.
Yeah.
There's a spot here, like when you come back.
Right.
But one of the things he said is he goes, Pi, if it's going to rock the boat, let me know. And he sent a real thoughtful message. We have a WhatsApp chat with our team and kind of said that, guys, I'm going to be here when I can. I will go balls to the wall when I'm here, and I'll chip in with a couple of cases of beer, and that's where it is.
Yeah.
And he said no hard feelings if it's going to be a problem. Some of them don't know him yet,
Right.
But he was the last one out of our dressing room on Tuesday at practice. I forgot to order the pizza. So there was him, Mitch Casey, and Maverick. And Maverick said, "Dad, did you forget Domino's number? There's no pizza." Deeds says, "Listen, if I'm coming to practice, I'm having supper here too."
Right.
So he's just a good guy.
Yeah.
And again, we're not expecting Deeds to score 40 goals and anything. But
No.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the season pro he is. He understands that he might not be for everyone with his situation where he can only make a certain amount of games. So he puts all the cards on the table. The communication is essential for a player like that, and I think everybody's feeling him.
And again,
So-
not to overanalyze this, and I'm hogging this. Sorry, Alzer. I thought twice about it. Do I put it's not a neck out for Deeds, but do we want that? Because I wanted to change a little bit of the culture. Not that there was a big change. We still got a real good thing going on there.
Sure.
We still end up first overall last year in the regular season. But I thought if Deeds wasn't the gentleman and the good guy is, and I think he's going to be so much fun in the room. I know it's an overused thing, but
Right.
he's just a good dude.
Absolutely.
So to me, it's a no-brainer.
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, the difference for me is not necessarily in the room or what he's done in the past. What carries weight is when he gets out on the ice. The way you see him skate, the way he carries himself, the way he practices. He practices like he plays. He goes full speed. And I'm telling you, this guy is a powerful skater. He goes 1, 2,
Yeah.
boom, and he's full speed. And there's certain things you can see about a guy going around the ice. There are certain guys that have a look about them. The way the sweater flows behind him when they get 3 good chops in, and the way he moves from left to right. And even now, what is he, 34, 35? And I assume he was probably even better a few years ago, but such a powerful skater. And Gorilla isn't the worst term to describe him, to be honest with you. He shook my hand. I'm just now getting the feeling.
Well, you were at our practice last
I was there
Tuesday.
Tuesday night, and I'm watching him, and you had him lined up with the new guy, Pekka, and Cooper Leach.
Bruce.
Talk about a guy that's jacked.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know.
Yeah, you sprained your wrist with him last year.
I know, right? Well, I hit him on the shoulder, said gave him a good game, and I had to go to the doctor because the guy is jacked. He is absolutely. And I don't know if anybody saw the interview I did with him, with Cooper Leach. I'm talking about, who was on skates. I stand about 6'1" and a bit, and he was a good 4 or 5 inches above me. And he's talking down to me like I'm yeah, okay, little guy, I'll talk to you now. But when you get those kinds of guys on the ice, the way they carry themselves, the way they practice, Didi Omidi carries weight in the room because of what he does on the ice. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah, he's got experience. But it's what you do on the ice that counts, that garners that respect. So when you get respect on the ice, you get respect in the room as well.
100%. And I don't want to one up here because your interviews have been great. What I will say, and full-heartedly here.
He said something about the camera
our
guy, though.
female listeners has went up 300% since you started doing those interviews. You are a beautiful man.
I begged him to get my good side on there, but alas, I didn't have it. So.
Just kind of reaching out to returning players, Pi and Hawley for that matter. Really happy to see Matt Henderson back. I really like watching him play. He very much quarterbacks a lot of different opportunities with your team, maybe the power play, different playing situations. And then, not to hog all the names, but you got your Ray Robbins, Graham Ballotts, Cameron Stokes, Cooper Leaches are back. Those are just a lot of solid foundation for this team. You've had to retool a little bit, and like you've talked about, not to get redundant, but we'll get into some of the newer players. But those players, Les and I and Razor have watched a lot of hockey games with your hockey team. We're always talking about those guys. They're just consistent. They deliver. They show up. They play hard. They lead by example. And I just feel fortunate, and I'm sure I can speak for Razor and Les, but you got to feel fortunate that they're on our team because they're that damn good.
And I think they're, you use that word identity or whatever you want, and they are the identity. They very much are. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And they have returned. Some of those guys you just said, not Henderson, but some of those guys have been here since day one.
Yeah.
And that speaks for the culture. Even though I said there's a little bit older, they have been treated good and they have to come back. And they're a huge part of our organization.
Graham Ballott's that player that, you guys get down, he can put the team on his back and just go.
Sure he can.
And he's got that scary shot, that sneak, right? And every time the puck's on his stick, there's a chance it's going in because he's going to sneak one by a goalie 9 times out of 10.
I thought Brew, our first year, so he was with us till Christmas, and then he went to Germany. I thought the first few months he was good, and then he went to Germany. But when he came back, I don't know what it was, and he came back, and not that he's a guy that's going to run guys to the end. It's tough when he gets going, and especially when he's going north and south, and he's motivated. Real nice hockey player.
He's one of those guys that really plays when he gets pissed off.
Yeah,
you see another level of him. You don't see it very often. You sure saw it in the playoffs. Period 1 of game 2. When you guys went up those 3 goals, and that was brutal. He scored 1 and assisted on 1. He was the best player on the ice every time on the ice because he got hit early on, and you could see he was pissed off. And when he's pissed off, boy, he is one hell of a hockey player.
Absolutely. So Bruce 27, and you talk about beer league and guys driving an hour to games. Brew calls 2 or 3 times a week. Pi, what are you thinking? Like he's just
incredible.
So invested. And there's a few other guys, but what are you thinking? What do you think?
You can't expect every player to feel like that, but when you have a nucleus like that where you go, okay, well, that puts a lot of onus on you going, they're going to be calling, what am I thinking? Or what, and not telling you how to do your job, but you've got to be prepared, right?
And that's the difference between the player nowadays, to me, and old days. Like now, when we played, you wouldn't even have talked to your coach.
No.
And I think it's better. They say, some guys, they talk about pamper. No. One, some of them are as equally as intelligent as you as hockey, and some of them more. Some of them actually coach right now. But no, you bounce ideas off. You get, it's perfect. I love those. I love those conversations.
Culture, right?
Well, because let's be honest, right? Not everyone is treated equally. I loved Jimmy Johnson, the old coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And one of the reporters said to him, he said, Jimmy, such and such lineman fell asleep in one of your team meetings and you cut him. Would you do that with Troy Aikman, who was their star quarterback at the time? And Jimmy Johnson, without missing a beat, looks at the reporter and he goes, this is what I would do if it was Troy Aikman. He goes, I'd walk over to Troy, I'd shake him up, and I'd say, Troy, you might want to wake up for this. And then I'd go back and continue the meeting. He goes, Troy Aikman is not the same as the guy that we let go, who was on the bubble anyways. And not to say that, you have favorites, but let's be honest, it's a different situation where these guys don't have to play in this league. Nope. They want to play in this league. And so you've got to find that fine line to keep them happy, but yet not piss everybody else off for not having a guy go on every road game. And so you do a great job at that, and it's just, you've been around, and that's where all your experience in coaching, winning a championship there in Tavistock a few years ago, doing the Tier 2, all of that is now come into what you're looking at, and you're doing a great job. You won a championship last year or 2 years ago. So
Yeah, we're you guys got to go to commercial here. And
Well, we might, but quick question around the table. Does anybody here like liver and onions?
No.
it's disgusting.
Okay. The only reason why I asked that, and he
Is
won't
that your
be
new sponsor?
exactly. Thank you, Holly. Thursday nights, Thursdays, Joe's Diner. One of their daily specials is liver and onions. You should see the lineup going into the restaurant, the diner. It's incredible. Big shout out to Joe's Diner. Just because we don't like liver and onions doesn't mean we won't visit.
Oh, that's different. If it's Joe's Diner, liver and onions, we all love it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what we do love with Joe's Diner is the Perth County.
Perth
Number
County,
4.
number 4 over easy bacon, white toast,
Over hard
please.
bacon and sausage.
There you
Toast.
go.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, every Friday night out at their St. Mary's
Location.
store is meatloaf night.
Meatloaf night.
And that
some of the
is
best
goody.
you've ever had.
Nice.
Bottom line is, we are a fan of Joe's Diner. They are the official breakfast and lunch diner of the Armchair Chirpers. Friday nights, they are open in Stratford for dinner. Thursday, Fridays in St. Mary's, they're open for dinner. The Myers family does an incredible job, Blaine and Julie, along with Dan in Stratford and Rebecca in St. Mary's. Their mascot, Bodie, Rebecca's son, such a great family to do such a great job. Joe's Diner.
Awesome. Yeah, we also want to give a shout out to SBS Metals, metal fabrication with professional craftsmanship. Stratford's preferred custom commercial and residential metal fabricator. And
We're going to saturate this opportunity as well with Domino's Pizza, as if we haven't talked about them enough. But we're going to continue to with Patrick and his team with locations on Ontario Street and Huron Street. Amazing people, amazing team, amazing pizza. They do great service with their deliveries, good quality pizza, great quality pizza. And don't forget to pick up your coupons, guys, and be sure to see them this winter for the Irish hockey season. They're going to be all over the place. You're going to have opportunities to get free pizza, win free pizza, enjoy free pizza.
so we'll go to commercial,
Yeah.
but when we come back, we want to talk about all the other exciting things you've got going on, your VIP lounge and all the different other things going on with the Irish. You've got a new TV host, I hear.
I just want to know if the rumor's true about the theme song for the new podcast, Holly. But we'll talk about that after the break.
We'll be back.
That is a trade secret. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
All right, and we're back. Before we get too far, I just want to say John Fountain's watching. And John, these are for your feet. He'll know what that's about.
I think
Yeah.
you remember Les's
Yeah.
comment right
Yeah.
in front of your wife.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
They're for your feet, buddy. As we were leaving, that was that $3 night too.
Oh my God, that was
But in fact,
a
the
lot.
$3 night was the origin of me coming on the show in the first
It
place.
was.
And I don't know if either one of you remember asking me at that point. You were everywhere. You were leaned up against the wall.
Oh, Holly, paint a
And,
picture.
Please note the color of their eyes.
The funny part was Founts is pretty good with his comebacks. Like he's pretty snappy, and his jaw just dropped. He's like, Les, okay, I guess we'll talk about something.
Founcey,
Move on.
Founcey's ran our beer league team, and great player up and down the wing.
Yeah.
A couple of clappers. Founcey's same line after every game. He'd bring the beer in. He goes, "Sorry guys, the beer's cold again." Like just
Isn't he the reason they took away slap shots in the over the hill?
Oh, it could be
Just too much.
There's a few guys.
Too much RPM.
He had a great clapper.
Oh, Founts.
That's all. He had it down to a science. I got to admit, he was taught well by Dave Marsh when they played Saturday Night League.
He
And-
told that story when he was here.
Yes.
Founts.
Yeah. So fantastic. He had it
The
down
beer
to a science. Yeah.
on in the freezer. In
Yes.
And out.
Yeah.
Oh, he,
Mar-
I don't care if Mike. He used to play for the Col. Mike.
Peluso?
No, he used to play Mike Chambers.
Chambers.
If Chambers scored 7 goals a game. Didn't matter. Founcey was MVP every game. every game.
And Danny's trucking.
The beer guy.
Founcey might have went -3. No MVP.
Well, I asked Dave Marsh because I would go into the dressing room and he'd say, Razor, just grab a couple of beers. And I'd go in and there was never ice in the cooler. And they were perfect.
They were.
And I'm like, Marshy, like, tell me your secret here, because you're not just pulling these out of the fridge. And he told me his story there where he would put, I think it was 2 hours. He would take them from his garage, put them in the freezer for 2 hours. He goes, I burst a few, before I got the timing down perfectly. And then he would set a timer, go down and get them, put them in the cooler, and he could fit more in because there was no ice.
No,
and so
it's Founcey might be cable guy, but he's right down to science.
Right.
With that. That's
So
awesome.
he was taught well.
All right, let's get on to Brian Hawley here. Brian, you got a new position? You got an old position?
Take that, Founcey.
We're done with you.
Enough.
Founts, you want to
Enough.
dominate the show. You get
Yeah.
your ass on
End
here.
scene.
Yeah. You got a new position. You got an old position. What do you got in the cooker? And as we were leaving, we were talking about the theme song for the podcast. And I was told it was Y&R.
Ooh, hello.
Oh.
Well, it would be an homage to be true to, the boss to be playing that. But at the end of the day, we don't want to put people to sleep. We want to liven the joint up a little bit, and so no, the Y&R, it won't factor in. I'll be honest with you.
We just hadn't mentioned
love
it
it.
yet this year, so I just wanted to bring
That's
it up with Pie
pathetic.
here.
Yes.
Why do
No
I feel
Nicky
like I just
Newman.
got fired?
I like it,
Come on.
Holly.
It's going to be a busy winter once again. We've got a new play-by-play guy for this season, James Rutherford. He used to do the Culletons. Not sure if he was around for the Warriors or not. I think
A little bit for the
the
Warriors.
Stratford Juniors, but I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it was as they were transitioning out of the Culletons. So he'll be doing play-by-play for us this year, and I'll take on my regular job as a game analyst. As I mentioned, broke the news on this podcast last season that I'll be starting up my own podcast in the next couple of weeks.
Fantastic.
Called Irish Weekly.
Congratulations.
And, thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah.
Well, don't congratulate me till you actually. do a show. I don't have you guys to carry me through a show like I have over here. So, we've been doing some interviews, getting to know the guys. Last week at practice, we set up a nice backdrop and hired a professional cameraman. And, we talked to about a half dozen players, some new ones and some OGs, like Brulot and Didi Omidi and Nash and Obanaswin, who might miss a little bit of time to start the year, but we'll worry about that later on. some other stuff coming on the
So,
horizon too.
just really quickly, for those of you who don't know, you can go on to the Stratford Fighting Irish Facebook page, and Brian Hawley has the interviews that he's referring to. They're all on there, and I would encourage you to check it out. It's some great thoughts from the players and their perception of the team and the culture and where they're going and what their aspirations
more
are.
to come.
Yeah,
Also,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think you've done half a dozen or so. So
Give or take. Yeah, and
I thought he was going to say half-ass, honestly.
I checked, it was coming out that way, didn't I? think he did a half-ass job, and how did he know that? I wondered. But at the end of the day, the guys are great. You can only, the interview is only as good as the subject, and so the guys are introspective and they're thoughtful and they're not kids. They've been through a few of these. I remember thinking specifically with Didi O'Meady and doing an interview with him. He's done interviews like this literally all over the world with guys that are a lot better at their job than I am. So they make my job easy, and I just cue them up with a nice, short, open-ended question, and they are thinking about it and giving me great answers. So.
kudos to
That's
you,
great.
Holly, for taking on that job. I think it's going to really encourage a whole lot of different things, including just people waiting to hear what you have to say as you establish the show and the connection and the understanding of players. It's how we've kind of built our brand here, and out of nowhere, your numbers just start building.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the fact again that you've taken on the quest of building that brand for the team.
Eventually, you're gonna feel like you're sitting on a rocket and it's just going, because
But,
and that's what you want.
We heard about that.
Yeah.
I think that it was the next logical step for the league. It started off as an idea, and then it turned into hockey games, and then it turned into an event. And this year there's a league-wide effort to expand the digital capabilities, and I think it was an untapped area of the league. And I think Pi would agree with me there that all the teams. Orangeville put a nice thing together. Alvinston's been doing it for a year or two, doing some nice stuff with video. And, I'm old, and so I'm not the most fluent with the technology, but, we're working on that. And the longer, just like anything else, the longer you do things, the better you
100%.
get at it.
100%. The tip of the cap to you for that.
If you allow me to hop on, and all there is, right, there's some teams in our league that are doing a really good job, but to us, and I'll blow smoke, he's wonderful. And I use that word too much, but he's amazing. One, you guys have had Halser on, but he's smart, and he knows his sports, but he's intellectual too, and something I'm not great at. But he knows how to work around. And yes, maybe he doesn't know how to work a board, but we'll figure that out. But we, and I say I mean the hockey club, are ecstatic that we have him doing this.
Did he on his resume put on that he could run a board, or are you finding that out now? Or?
No,
I just
Don't ask, don't tell. It's just
I'm
like
gonna-
the military, right?
I think
I'm gonna toot the horn here a little bit.
Kidding.
What we've set him up with
Yeah.
is foolproof.
And listen, you guys have helped out in this. Really.
Yeah.
Yes, it was like Halser said, it was an easy pivot. Not easy because you have to do something, but you guys have helped.
Holly
helped us
has
with
always
that.
been a very popular guest on our show.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
We'll say that with conviction.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Brian.
Always happy to be on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there'll be many more, my friend. So good luck with your own show and doing the Irish. I'm
And you'll be
sure,
on here again.
Yeah,
Well,
he'll
and
be
I
back.
hope someday soon to reciprocate. And
Yeah. Well, we'd love to, come over to the Chirpers zone and, if you need any material, I'm sure we'll.
$3 a night, I get all the material I need. For this.
And speaking of which, and talking about the successes that we're somewhat finding, and in fact we are finding, is just another big thank you to the viewers and the listeners from our YouTube channels to our listening platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you saw my post today, but we have exceeded over 750 downloads between
Amazing.
YouTube
Spotify,
and
Buzzsprout.
all of our listening platforms in just 2 episodes in our new season. I got chills just talking about it.
it's awesome.
We've
Goosebumps.
never seen anything like that.
No.
remotely with our platform. So not to get too personal here with what we're doing, but
Oh, please do.
it's
awesome.
incredible. It's absolutely incredible, and it's all because of you guys. So
Yeah.
so thank you so much. You guys spread the word. You tune in. You talk at work. You share our posts on social media, may it be Instagram or Facebook, or share our YouTube channel. Endless thank you to all of you. So we're gonna keep riding this wave. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
So Razor, we got something big coming up with the Irish
Yes.
opening night. It's $5 drink night, or we're gonna get
It's $5 drink night. It's home opener.
All right.
I'll let Razor take
There's
it
still
away.
there's not too many places you can go with a $20 bill and get 4 drinks and have a good time, right?
Yeah.
But you might need an extra fin there to tip the girls when you're getting your. But no, we've got a great partnership. Not only with Armchair Chirpers and the Irish, but we wanted to bring another great organization into the mix. And through collaboration, guys banging their heads together, wondering how we can do more good in the community, we ended up coming up with, let's get Rotary Y Hockey involved. And so what we're doing, folks, is on our opening day on Saturday, October the 5th, right before the Armchair, or before the home opener for the Irish, we're going to have a used hockey equipment drive. And what that is we want people that everybody's got it, gloves, skates, even sticks, like whatever. And we want you to bring it down to the Almond Arena. We're probably going to do it, like the game is 7 o'clock, puck drop. So we're probably going to set up shop somewhere. Like what time do you think, Pi, would be a good
I
time?
think some people will be getting there just after 6:15 starting. Like last year, we had people starting to roll in for our warm-ups and have a couple of cocktails. And this year, because we are going to blow this up, it's up to you guys, but 6:15,
Well, we can even do that earlier. Like I'm thinking like maybe like even like 5 o'clock, right? Like we'll get down there, so that people can come down.
Well, let's be sober by game time.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's just a good feel good every year, including last year before I ended up calling it a day. We had a whole bunch of used hockey equipment in Lost and Found, and a lot of goalie equipment. I threw it out on a table and on a Saturday morning, and I said, free to a good home, and people couldn't be more appreciative. And it was, let's face it, Rotary Y kids for the most part. The traveling teams, the parents, we're not isolating it, saying that you have to play Rotary Y, but those are the kids that are usually the kids in need. And we just don't want any undergarments, for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. We're looking more like gloves, sticks, helmets, skates, anything that you can, shin pads, stuff that people are collecting dust with down in their laundry room. Bring it to the Almond Arena on Saturday, October the 5th, and you're going to be getting a whole bunch of swag as well. I know that you had come up with a lot of stuff, Pi.
Well, I think that it's a twofold, people. We're doing you a favor. We're getting you downstairs to do your basement. But no, it's in all seriousness that there's some great sports stores in town that people can get new stuff and continue going there. But there's also there's a bunch of old stuff that is floating around that the less fortunate, and it kind of goes with our theme that every home game we have a theme night. One, it'll be say a Mexican night or a Armchair Chirper night, but there's always a charity. And on this one, it's Rotary Hockey. Not that Rotary Hockey is a charity, but the equipment drive and our players. After the video, part of the video last night that I alluded to earlier was, get downstairs. You guys all have equipment. So they're going to be helping out, and it gets them to give back. And the main reason is for those kids that are less fortunate, but let's not kid ourselves. When you give something back, it does make you feel
Absolutely.
Feel good.
Well, and we all know this as people who are involved with hockey. The prices are, the cost to buy equipment, to do registration, to do everything that's involved, even to play Rotary hockey, is astronomical. Unfortunately, that's the situation that we're in. it's just one of those things where it was a no-brainer for us to collaborate on this. And just to extend on Razor's message is Armchair Chirpers will have a setup of some sort. We have to collaborate with the Fighting Irish at this point, but that will be the drop-off point for the equipment where you can drop it off, and guess what? You'll get a free pizza.
Yeah, you get
Free Domino's pizza.
And the other is every time you donate, you get a ticket. And there will be one winner that night that gets a combination of an Armchair Chirper, Urban Barber, and Fighting Irish prize pack.
And thank you for bringing that up. So that's exactly what it'll be. So we're going to figure out the prize, but we really want to start to get the feelers out because, folks, we're only 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
It's coming up quick, but we really want you to spread the word. We really want you to understand how important this is for this drive, for us, for the kids, and really, just help us along because we really want this to be a smashing success. We're probably going to try to do another drive in the new year if whatever makes sense. But this is really important to us. We've all been products of Rotary Y hockey. It's been a part of our growing up, and it's just really near and dear to our hearts. We want this to be a success. Really help us help get the word out, guys. Please.
I'm excited. I don't want to go too much on this, but check out all the feeds and the social media stuffs, and please share it, people. Again, we think we're doing you a favor.
Yeah.
We're joking here, but get downstairs. I was talking to my kids, and I said, guys, I know there's some stuff there, and I know you're going to be having babies and stuff like that, but let's get it out to some people that can use it right now.
For sure. And then when your kids or grandkids are ready to use it and stuff, there's going to be stuff coming back to them, right? So it's
everybody wins.
There's good karma. There's karma. There's good karma. When you give back, sometimes it comes back to you. And again, I'm feeling a little hoaxy here, but I mean, I was really excited, Razor, that you brought this up. You guys brought it up, and there's some things that as we've went forward in this, we've had to go, we can't say yes to everything, but this is an absolute no-brainer. I would think hockey, football helmets and all that, but I would think hockey is the most expensive sport.
I would agree.
So let's chip in, people that are watching, and biggest thing, spread the word.
Yep.
Thank you in advance.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Where to?
Well, just tell us a little bit. Like, I know you guys had your VIP section. Like, is that sold out? Is there still was it a membership thing, Pi? Tell us a little bit about that.
So we have two sections, no, three, because we have an Armchair Chirper section. Sorry. So
that is the real VIP.
Yes, exactly. We've tried to elevate it. You guys started a little bit about, I said the buck and doe style, that stuff. We've tried to raise the bar, and the one thing is, and Burrs, I do this with you a lot, is ask questions. There's no one on our organization that has all the answers, and I certainly don't. So when I come in to see you and have a coffee, I ask you as a fan and as a partner, what can we do different? And the one thing with talking to Jay from Tallman, getting to the VIP section, sorry to be long-winded here, I said, Jay, how do you like coming to our games? What value do you see as a partner? What do you like as a fan? And he says, I love coming to the games. It's one of the best price for entertainment, yada, yada, yada. I can bring 30 or 40 people. We sit in the stands, we cheer you on. But we would love to have a spot that we could network and talk, and the game's there, but it's sometimes secondary. And it actually went from one conversation to another, and yes, the Almond is not the ACC. We get that.
Right.
But we've started a VIP section down at the far end, and we have our friends at Camp Out RV that stepped up huge, and they're going to be our title sponsor for the VIP. So the VIP is going to have its own bar. It's going to have its own bartender, Domino's Pizza, supplying pizza. We got popcorn. We got pub tables. We got, the
You're
bar
gonna have
stools.
a TV for the
There'll
Leaf
be a
game.
TV. Yeah, that'd be great. Watching the Leafs. Yeah, they're good. And but we're gonna have cornhole down there. It will be talked about. You guys brought up one of our great partners, SBS Metals. They're having a staff party there.
Oh, wow.
Crunch Fitness they're the first game. They're having a party. So are we sold out? We have 12 regular season home games. There's 9 dates taken already.
Wow.
And there's a little bit of a waiting because we're trying to sort in. So we might we're gonna open it up the other side a couple times, but it's just little things to try to elevate it, and it's a lot of work,
Yes.
and that's why we have to get the volunteers in there. So that's the VIP zone.
Okay.
The other part that did sell out, it sold out within 48 hours. And listen, we had to get the grace of the city on this. So Mark Hackett and the employees and Michelle Light, they're amazing people to work with, and they've allowed us to do some of this stuff. Now it goes up for game day and down again, lots of volunteers. But we thought, you know what, we have a great spot where you guys stand, and then there's a middle section. Why don't we have a bar right there, so we've brought in bar stools that we're going to have a waitress on there, and a nice looking waitress to take care of them and all that. So we had a thing where you got your pass. It was a regular season home and away, and you got your own bar stool reserved. They sold out in 48 hours.
Amazing.
Yeah, so little different stuff, and they get some perks, for that. So that's kind of some of the new stuff. We do have some new intermission contests that we can talk about later,
Yep.
but that's kind of your area, the VIP down at the far end, the armchair, or the best seats,
Best seats in the house there, yeah.
Dominoes. Yeah. So, and we're excited.
Well, hopefully they'll come through us. We'll get them all warmed up and lubricated, and then
Just so people
they
know,
can-
in our section, you do not get a waitress.
No.
You do not get the Armchair Chirpers bringing you beer. I'm just kidding.
I just caught the tail end there of some of your message, and one of which is, what if people want to be a part of the Stratford Fighting Irish to volunteer? How would they go about that?
Yeah, get a hold of me. I can give out my number now, 519-998-3435. But just get on site. Jeff Morris and I's email. Get a hold of us, and that has happened. People want to
for some of the examples, would students be able to come in there and get community hours without the alcohol and all that? They have other jobs that you can find for them.
And what we've had over the past, and Brian has been great to introduce me to some students. One, they get their hours.
Community hours,
and they get to be part of something, and we usually throw in some Domino's pizza and some Irish swag, and the one thing, it could be a person who works 1 hour a game, or some of those people who work 6 hours. They're part of our family, and I use that word a lot, but it is true. The one thing, when we started, we were not going to be a buttoned up and everything's
Stuffy.
we're above. We ain't looking down on people. When we have a gathering, everybody's invited. It could be that person that's been with us for 1 hour. If they've worked that year, we invite them, and yes, there's some cocktails, and usually Joe's Diner puts on some treats, but yeah, there is some meetings where it's just the upper management, but a lot of our meetings, it's open, and we want them to feel part of it. And if you want to be part of something fun and give back, by all means, contact us.
And I think that's just important, because I know that there's people out there who want to get involved, whatever level that looks like. It could be a student, it could be someone who just wants to get involved with the Stratford Fighting Irish.
I can certainly corroborate to what Pi was saying. It is definitely a family atmosphere there. There's inclusion is
we've been
the word.
There after the games, and you've just either had a win or a loss. And I will speak from what I've seen. And you, Pi, you're up there, and you're literally going around your volunteers and the people involved, and you're like, did you get a slice of pizza? Did you grab yourself a water or a cocktail or whatever? You do a good job.
Well,
I really mean that.
And I appreciate
it's
that.
great.
But, and again, I've said this before. It's not just me. There's lots of guys there. But after a loss and we haven't played well, or I haven't did well, you almost got to switch it, because a lot of us in this wear different hats. Like, we wear multiple hats, and you got to change it, because that volunteer who came to help set up signs and set all this up, they sometimes don't have that compete that Razor talked about. So you have to pivot right away and go, they came here.
Well, I did feel bad
Right.
for you, that infamous game that we talked about with a lot of Miller Lite, because
Less
you were,
Fester night. Less Vader's night.
you were cleaning seats, and Razor went right down there and said, "You know what you should have did there."
Yeah, I was passionate, and even though it was like a high scoring game, it was almost like a football game. Your goaltending wasn't the reason you lost. Like, with me being a former goalie, it wasn't like he let in 2 or 3 soft goals and blew it when you guys should have won it. Like, it's a whole. We could go
Anyways,
on and
Razor,
on.
no,
It
but,
was
but I want to
interesting.
touch on that for a second. One thing that has happened in our short little existence is we talked about, again, that buck and doe in the field. Some people come, they couldn't give a rat's butt about the score. But it is awesome, and everyone in here included, that you do care about the score, and you do bounce ideas off and go, what were you doing on that power play, Pie? Like, would you have this? It's awesome because, to me, I still have hockey in me. Yeah, I'm 54, and I still believe I have some juice left in me, but that's still the most fun for me. And to bounce ideas off to you guys that are all knowledgeable.
Well, and Razor was like, he goes, I have to go talk to Pi, and he just walked out. Yeah, but that's your passion behind
Well,
it.
it is, and I love him like a brother, right? And
Yeah.
so he knows it was coming from love, not from criticism.
But
and,
that's the part. I don't want to
You're
go clean up.
interactive,
I don't want to go
literally.
clean up empty. So if I can tell Mo I'm busy, I'm going to tell Mo I'm busy.
Yeah.
No, but I love that there is, again, we said earlier, there's two types of fans.
Yeah.
There's the hockey person, and then there's this, there, and it doesn't mean one's better than the other.
No.
But I will say
You need
I
'em both.
love talking hockey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and it shows, right? Speaking of feel good and volunteers, tell us a little bit more about this free concert coming up Saturday.
Yeah. So what we've had some big concerts. We had the James Barker Band in last year, and they're a big hitter, and they're a big name, and we certainly still want to stay in the big name business. With that being said, it's tough, and Perth County is flooded right now with concerts, but we want to do something. So what we're trying to do is every September, to kick off the season, we want to do a free concert. But what we want to do is we want to celebrate some local acts. And I'm not a music guy, but the more I've been around and meet guys like Halser, his son's involved, and other people, I am blown away what the music, I don't know about the industry, the music people around, how many people that, then some of them are reaching out to us.
Right.
Hey, can we come and play at your games and come there? So we're trying to embrace that local musicians, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, we're having a free concert this Saturday, the 28th. Doors open at 7. Upside of Maybe, who the interaction with the crowd is awesome.
They've got a huge following.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And they've really pumped it on social media.
Yeah,
They do
they've
a
done a
wonderful
nice job for you guys.
And they're not making millions of dollars. You know, they're getting some from us, but they're doing it because they love it.
They're in for the party.
100% they
Yeah.
are. I know M. Grinder's there, but the one that kind of pumped up, and and I didn't bring this fella in, but I did see him a couple of months ago at Bentley's at our
I
favorite.
love it. I know who's coming up.
JJ. I mean,
JJ's back.
JJ the
Like,
DJ.
and I've seen him over the first couple of years, out in town, and he, how's the Irish? How's it? Like, I've never seen that guy in a bad mood.
No.
And he goes, what can I do? And Chris Parsons, who's part of our volunteer staff,
Yep.
got a hold of JJ, and so JJ's coming in to kind of oversee the whole thing. I can't wait.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna squeeze into a pair of 34s.
That was
I'm gonna get in.
Edwin's.
he was our DJ at our wedding.
Was he?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He used to do the ball hockey tournaments.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
is, I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
He's an absolute legend.
He is.
He's the best.
He is.
He is.
And if he would have moved out of Stratford, and again, I don't know the industry, but if he would have moved out of Stratford, he would have blown it up.
Yeah.
If some in
Yeah.
the bigger cities. He's
He's
big.
truly the epitome of been there and done that.
Yeah.
He's been
100%.
telling me for
Everywhere.
15 years this is his last dance. Like, it's incredible. He goes,
Right.
Jeff, I love this.
Right.
This is my last one.
Jeff, I hope it's just the start. I hope it's his as we're
He's
trying to
so
retool.
good.
I hope we can retool
Yeah,
with JJ.
he's so good. He's a part of the fixture in Stratford. He really is.
Isn't he?
Well, if
Yeah.
enough people come out, you never know. We might have to throw another dance or two on
When the
before the
tons of
season's
people
over.
do come out,
The
Razor.
other
right?
thing with that back to, again, the charity stuff, to be serious here. One, it's only $5 drinks, people. So it's a free concert, $5 drinks, free parking. But what we would like you to do is bring a charitable donation, and it's going to the House of Blessing. So this is not going to the Irish, but the House of Blessing. And again, the last couple of years trying to get entrenched in the community, we found out how many people in our county, or in our Perth County, that are going without food.
Right.
we're going without mittens, or we're going without stuff. And it's, as you can tell people, I haven't missed too many meals, but there is people, there is people that are losing out. And
Right.
so I hope we flood it, with the amount of people we can get in there to listen to some great music, bring some food.
Pi, I talked to a
Okay.
lot of people, and may that be at work or out in the community and different experiences. Something that is the forefront of the identity of your brand is your community involvement. And I don't mean that to say anything other than good on you. It's being recognized. I know you do it from the right spots. There's lots of different examples with different organizations and certain things in town. For whatever reason you do it, but there's certain and there's past productions that you've done in the past where you've done certain food drives or whatever the cause may be. You're really gaining notoriety and traction and respect because of it. So good on you for that.
No, and I appreciate that. And again, we talk about those check marks that we've always
100%.
wanted. We want a competitive team. We want a loyal fan base. We want to be entrenched in our community. We want to give back. And so we got a long way to go. And we've made mistakes. I've made so many mistakes in these 4 years. It's unbelievable. But we do want to give back. And we were nominated for Business
just
of the
gonna
Year
say.
Right.
award.
And that's not by
Yeah.
accident.
No, and there's so many people that go involved in that, but there has to be something being done right. Again, mistakes were made and we make them, but we try. And the other thing too is if people on here are going, yeah, you do flap your mouth, but if I was always flap my mouth, or other people in our organization and not have their ears open on what the community needs, we wouldn't be able to succeed. And so we want to continue doing that, and we have some organizations, some charities that are reaching out to us, and you see me multiple times going to have meetings at Joe's Diner.
Sometimes you wave,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, we'll never say no. I said earlier we have to watch what we do on certain things.
You
but,
can only do so much.
right, but we'll never say no to a charity. Last year we had one game where we had 3. Now the problem is then you're slicing it, but we don't want to say no to anyone.
I actually had a person who was on the board for voting for the District Chamber of Commerce award that you were nominated for. And they were mentioning that was a huge notoriety that you had with all the nomination functionality behind it. It's a big deal. And when you get to that point where you're nominated for an award like that, you've already won with a nomination. It's not about winning, taking home the plaque or the trophy. The fact that you've been recognized, or you have to know, you're already doing the right things.
100%. We had a gathering at your friend Terry Casey's house in the summer, pool and all that.
Not your friend, Pi?
No, he's
He's
beyond.
my friend.
I love him to death, but I know Razor and him
Yeah,
real close.
we're good
and
buddies.
the
Same with
belly
Walter.
flops he does was unbelievable. But what we did is it was a free day for all our volunteers. Again, back that person who's maybe worked an hour. And the one thing we kind of took a little bit of celebratory is that what we have did and as Burrs, you and I have this talk, okay, we got to get the next level. We got to get the next level. What are we going to do? But sometimes you do have to take a step back and go, this is okay.
Yeah.
We were losing game 3 in Stratford against Alvinston, and my head was ready to pop. But there was a moment in a stoppage of play that I went, we're okay. We're okay here. And, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, Pi.
Awesome,
You're doing a lot of great things, and like you say,
It's the whole team. It's the whole volunteers.
It's everything from, like you say, and you take the time and understand that person that gives an hour to the tireless people that, to yourself, to the people that you work with, to everything. Pi, I'm going to be honest with you. There's so many, again, and I hate to be redundant, there's so many conversations in this city with your product that you have and your brand and your views and your visions that you have. You talk to the majority of your sponsors about ideas, about opportunities that you can create. You are running this engine and everybody's welcome. You can't obviously take everything into consideration because, when you do something like you're doing, a lot of conversations start, You know what you should do? Because that's all the people do. They see what whatever the possibilities are. Without rambling here, what I'm saying is you've got full check marks about the ones that you're talking about for the boxes pie. You're doing a great job.
And again, I'm going to say thank you on behalf of this. And again, I use the word hoaxy all the time, but when, we had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't an executive meeting. It wasn't an executive meeting. It was a volunteer meeting. And I forget how many people we had. I'm thinking it was 14, 15. But we always open it up to ideas. And because Jamie Petrie doesn't come up with all the ideas. And we opened up and 1 minute went into 5 minutes, went into 10 minutes, and went into an hour. And the only thing I ever say is, how are we going to execute it? How much is it going to cost? But really, those are the fun ones. I'll sip my 12 Diet Cokes and, we'll have a couple of beers. But honestly, there's a great group. We have some new people that have come in and thank you. And we're going to try to keep pushing, up the meter or whatever way you want to call it. I'm not good at English like Halser, but we want to keep pushing the envelope and we want feedback. So the one thing is, you talked about that, Dave Cassoni is, well, he's Italian and he's a soccer guy if he enjoys watching 20 guys run around after a ball, that's okay. But one of the things, all joking aside, soccer does and overseas is they have a year end, and I'll get it wrong, but they bring the fans in. And it's kind of the lay of the land or whatever. It's after the season, the fans come in, and we want to do that this year, and we'll open it up and have Les Vader $3 drinks, and we'll have some food. But we want to get feedback.
Yeah.
And I guess they do this in these
almost
soccer
like
clubs.
kind of like a town hall or something.
It's exactly. And again, Dave knows far more intelligent than me, but there's something they do over there, and we want to do it. And I don't think there's ever a bad. It doesn't mean we can't, just like you said, can't execute it. But I want to hear some stuff. We've changed some of our intermission contest to something different, or where our pizza was at our game to this and that, and what our logos is on our apparel, and it's feedback. We want feedback.
Well, how much fun would that be, to have a year-end appreciation party on the floor of the Almond? Remember the old Festival City days?
When they brought in the tables and all that?
Oh, yeah,
my
and the
gosh.
tombola.
JJ was the DJ.
Jeff Morris says he brings up Festival City days all the time.
Unreal.
And he because he sits at one spot with his 12 OVs, and he's decorated, but he's on to something. But
it's not by accident that I would go on Facebook, and every week you would have Burnt Bridges and Tri-County Brick and all these different sponsors. You're doing a fantastic job, man, and I just want to say how proud I am for what you guys are doing.
We can't do it without the partners. So in our budget, not to get into it, but in our budget, we don't put gate revenue because you never know from game to game. So yes, we have to run your concerts, and you have to run. We're doing a hypnotist / comedy show, and we're doing another wrestling event we'll talk about later, but so that's part of it to come up with it. But the other is our partners, and we've had some real good ones that have come on board that see the value,
see the vision.
You see the vision, and I keep going back to you, Jeff, because you're a partner. Yes, Armchair is, but the one thing we talked about since day one is we don't want 125 partners, because there's zero chance we can show vision. So we like to get into that 30 to 50 range, grow with our partners, show value. And one thing Halser was saying about the commercials and videos that we're getting into, because that's kind of the end thing.
It is.
And again, if we can show value to our partners and they feel that family atmosphere, they come to our games and all our functions, then we'll be able to survive and continue growing.
Well, and just to extend what Razor was saying, and not trying to be exaggerating here, but I'm looking at some of the introductions to some of the partners that you've introduced, and I'm like, those are pretty heavy hitters. So it's just all good news. That's what it is.
So Greg Hayter, who we all know, and
Arden Park,
the Arden
Red
Park.
Wings fan.
Yeah, and he was one thing. I think when you run a business, you have to be blunt. And I sat down with him and his lovely wife, and he said, Jamie, our budget shot for the year. It's shot, but we want to come on board because we want to be on part of this move and train. And they did come on board because they seen the vision, and I hope that when we see Greg during the year, he sees that vision, and we're very proud. We're proud of everyone, but it's an example of that they see what we're doing, and again through some of the hiccups,
They want to see what all the fuss is about.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right, and he was not too much different than you, Burrs. It was kind of a wait and see, and see how it goes. And there was a lot of wait and see, and I can fully appreciate that.
Yeah.
What's this about? What's this team
And we were
about?
transparent from the start.
No.
And the thing that I appreciated about you most, Pi, is let's continue to connect as the journey happens. You didn't go, oh, F him. Like, and that's the thing I appreciate the most, because it's not about, like, you completely understood where I was coming from.
100%.
I just had to see I'm a small business, and dollars matter. Well, here we are, going into season 4,
yeah,
right?
and
It's a good thing.
And so they're huge. Like I see this Burnt Bridges, like Jesse,
25,000 followers on Instagram.
Unreal.
to see, like, and
Yeah.
I'm blown away by some of this, because I am not good with my hands. I'm good with my hands, feeding my face.
Yeah.
But I'm not good with my hands, and seeing some of these people in the industry. But
Yeah.
no, we could not do it without our partners. And
Like all of them, and we're just mentioning a few, but
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
got a
yeah.
lot on board.
Yeah.
And again, they're very impactful. They're very calculated with who they partner with and why they do.
another one I'll bring
So
up
that's a
is,
huge compliment.
yeah, Bear Epoxy, out of St.
100%.
Mary's, contacted us, and I think he'd be okay that I say this is he goes, can we have coffee? And I went to St. Mary's to have coffee. He goes, we've looked at other teams, other organizations in Perth County, and we'd love to do it all, but we see what you guys are doing. And again, I keep prefacing, we make
100%.
mistakes, but he goes, we want to be part of this. We want you to help promote our business, because it is a twofold. There's one, the hockey that we've talked about,
Sure.
that Razor, that's what I love.
Yeah.
But to help promote a business, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's really cool.
It's about creating a win-win situation.
Sure it is. And if
And-
you can keep those for years and years and years, and
Absolutely.
you grow with that stable, it's awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome. Have any of you been in for tacos at Bentley's?
I have not.
No.
Did they just bring them on the menu? or-
No, for about 6 years now.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned that because Bentley's Bar and Inn is one of our generous
Absolutely.
sponsors.
Tell me all about this Bentley's bar you speak.
Well,
Never been there, eh,
is-
Alzer?
it is a absolute staple in Stratford, downtown Stratford, on Ontario Street. A family ran by Breen Sr., Breen Jr., Tanner, and lovely Brooklyn. They have 20 beers on tap, daily food specials, a fabulous place to spend the evening with friends, or if you need to spend the night, they have fully renovated lofts. That I talked to Senior. Let's just say he put a effing lot of money into the
They look
the
great.
renovations, and they look amazing.
Yeah, they do.
Locally owned and operated. And the thing that I always love when I talk to Breen Senior is, Jeff, if this was in downtown St. Thomas, it wouldn't work. It has to be Stratford.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Bentley's, for your generous sponsorship this season. And go ahead, Razor.
Have you ever talked to Breen Senior? Sorry, have you ever talked to Breen Senior and walked away and you haven't learned something?
No,
Like he
no.
Such
blows
a
me
wealth
away.
of
The business,
knowledge,
the one, he's comical. And
He's
but the
completely humble and
Yeah.
and genuine. I was mentioning on the show before, I was talking to him, and I have my small business. He knows that, and he literally looks me right in the eye. Jeff, how is business? And he genuinely means it.
100%.
And
Yeah.
he
It's
and he
authentic.
takes the time, and like you say, you're richer in knowledge after a conversation with an individual like that. So
calls once a week. Hey, Breen, what's up? And I'm going, what's going on? Like, what, how are you? How are you doing? And yeah, I don't want to carry
Yeah.
on, Razor.
Oh, it's good.
Well, you know what? We and I think we've talked about it a little bit. We just want to bring value like you guys do to however we could. So stay tuned. We may end up taking this show on the road, maybe one Monday night on a cold winter's night down to Bentley's. You just never know. But we're very grateful that Bentley's Bar Inn and Restaurant is one of the Armchair Chirpers sponsors as well. Also, we're very, very happy to have Brighter Vision Counseling, Psychology, and Wellness as one of our sponsors, providing compassionate and effective counseling services to individual and families in need. They provide a safe and supportive environment where everyone can heal and grow. Brighter vision, counseling, psychology, and wellness.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to take a little break here, and when we come back, we'll talk some more Irish, but we also got to get into our meat and potatoes of it. We got to get the NHL started back up, so we need to get into that. We're also going to talk a unicorn. We'll be back.
Oh gosh, these breaks, I tell you, lots and
Wow.
lots of stories and tales to be told.
Thank God for mute.
That's right. Welcome back, everyone. We've been having a great episode here with the guy that wears all the hats, Jamie Petrie, along with the newest member of the team officially. You've always kind of been behind the scenes, but they brought you to the forefront now, Brian Hawley. So just before we break out to the NHL aspect of the episode, you guys got a couple more announcements that you'd like to let the public know.
I'm going to pass it over to Halser, but we talked about partners earlier, and they don't just fall off the trees. Yes, we talked about some people come to us, and we're knocking on doors, and one door that I've knocked on for a few years is Crunch Fitness, and they were on a wait and see thing. But one person that had a huge part of getting Dr. Pooley on board is Halser, and if anyone can see Halser was never the size of me, but Halser had put a real interest in his health and body, and you had a little bit of a scare there, and he's been going there and pumping it out. And the one thing I like about Halser is he's always trying to sell our vision, our program, and Halser, thank you, and you got an announcement for the home opener.
Well, yeah, the people at Crunch are sponsoring the first VIP for the home opener, and a lot of people, don't realize there are a lot of people who are members at Crunch that don't realize this is going on. So Crunch members, your tag, this little dealie right here, if you can pick that up on the camera, I don't know.
So
And,
it's your ID tag to get
the
into the
ID
gym.
tag to get into the gym.
That's your ID to get into the game.
Flash that at the game, and that will get you into the VIP section.
Flash the tag, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've really been working at the gym, you can
man.
If you've really been working at the gym, you flash whatever you want. And stop getting me in trouble. Dave.
So
Guys, don't bring the beads. This isn't New Orleans.
and just to clarify, when they show that tag, is it free admission to the game?
It is. So back to that VIP thing. So
Sure.
partners at certain levels they're at, they get to host one game this season. So Crunch took home opener, and as like Halser was saying, that every Crunch member can get in.
What a great kickoff
That's
to the
awesome.
season. And Dr. Pooley's been around Stratford for a long, long time. I remember being at HealthWorks way back in the day at 16 years old. I'm now 46, and not to age Dr. Pooley. But he's just always been around. He's been a kind face to see. He's been a great owner for business, great for the city of Stratford. So, just another round of applause for, you guys being able to partner with him. And it's such a great partnership and a great match for, two equal visions.
Well, it was easy, to be honest with you. Like, for us around the gym, he's just Bruce. And, he comes around, he walks around the gym, he says hi, he laughs at me sweating it out on the treadmill every day, and we have a conversation. But he came up to me today and, how fired up he is, getting ready for the home opener for the Irish. It's almost time. How many more days? It's 11 more sleeps, Bruce, 11 more sleeps. So, yeah, he's really fired up to be just happy to be part of it. And I hope all the members that I see there on a regular basis are going to come out and enjoy the hockey game.
The thing I get excited about is a new partnership like you have with Crunch and Dr. Pooley is they're really going to see a great experience, a great product on the ice, a great brand that he is going to be a part of. And I know that, every game you guys do such a great job and all that great excitement. And, not to keep on coming back to us, but once you gave us the opportunity to help you or to be a part of the opening, the home opener, it's going to be a big day.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I can't believe it's year 4 already, to be honest with you.
It's crazy.
I love to tell the story about Pi and I just sitting in the stands on a Friday night watching junior baseball the year before the hockey game even started, and that's the reason that I'm doing all the things that I'm doing now. I had mentioned to Pi that my dream job was to be like Vin Scully, to call baseball games.
Such a smooth voice.
Well, and not just to call the game, to call it like Vin, who did it by himself, who could call the game and analyze the action.
That happened
whatever.
nowhere else in the league.
And nobody does that anymore. There's 2 guys, there's
Right.
people, there's 3 people. There's a production team, there's reporters down on the field now, where Vin just used to. I mean, just to tell you how long he did it, he did games for the Brooklyn
Dodgers.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's how
In the
long ago he
50s.
was. And so that's the reason that I am calling hockey games. That's the reason I'm hosting podcasts. That's all this stuff is born of the conversation that I had that day with him. Just to finish off, a conversation that you were having earlier, if I may wax biblical, energy begets energy. And Pi has boundless amounts of energy. And
Absolutely.
I pick up on that, and anybody hanging around with Pi picks up on that. And part of the culture of the Irish is the energy that all the volunteers bring, because it just trickles down from the top, and that's what makes it such a fun.
And I think too, with our again, just revisiting this really quick, when admittedly, I mentioned to Pi I need to see a little bit more as he was developing the brand and all that. We passed each other out in front of the shop, and he's like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm ready. Let's have a conversation." And it wasn't anything to do with anything except seeing your emotion, your passion, your culture that you want to build, all the great stuff that we've talked about. And as a small business owner in Stratford, I will just say personally, I'm very, very excited for this upcoming season. It's going to be a great season for you guys.
We are too, and I know you guys want to get into some other stuff, but the Steve Vaders of the world, the Ann Vaders of the world, the Dave Cassonis, Terry Casey's,
Yep.
I could,
and Chris Trainers, and
go
Wendy,
on.
and
Yeah.
I hate to leave anybody out, but they're just
I don't want to leave anyone either.
So
but
many people,
but
Amy and all them.
you talk about running around in energy. Like Mo was
Sarah
talking.
and Mo.
Mo was talking about getting some apparel. I said, Mo, you should just go with a tank top, buddy, because you're running around. You're running around the game so freaking hard. Like, don't get a jacket, bud.
You have to feel he's always on his guard, hanging out with you. Holy jeez.
So
tank top.
Then there's
Come
Mo.
him and Bevo. They're both Dr. Red Bulls. Like it's.
Just getting really back here, and thanks, Bevo, to be chiming in on the live podcast. But he's just saying Pi's amazing, and he just appreciates and loves how hard you work and are committed to this opportunity that you have, and the brand that you're building, and all the rest of it. So I mean, we couldn't agree more.
Well,
And Bevo, thanks for that.
I'll throw one back at Bevo. There's a guy that every time I turn around, there's another post. So he has kids. He loves baseball, but he's either running a tournament if he's not, and his wife's right there with him. And then he'll say, yeah, but I'm going to miss Tuesday practice and stuff. Is that okay? And I went, yeah, go be with your family. 5 minutes later, no, I'll be there. Just like, it's just, he like I said, he's Dr. Red Bull.
Yeah.
And you talk about enthusiasm being infectious, that's the word again, but he is there all the time.
Yeah.
And he loves wearing the logo on
Right.
on his chest. So,
Well,
and his wife's a part of this too. And that's that
very
back to that
much so.
family
That's
thing.
She was
big part
in
of it,
she was
yeah,
in
for
the pre-Armchair Chirper zone last year
Yeah.
and found out, like,
Yeah.
they were both there, and they were having a great time. We were talking about a lot of different things, and
They're
Yeah,
everywhere.
great
Those
people.
They're literally
Oh.
everywhere. You
Yeah.
see them at the ballpark. You see them at the ring.
like, yeah,
Look up volunteer
Everywhere.
in Webster's. There's probably a picture of a family shot of them, and I'm not like I'm being serious here.
Yeah.
Like
it's
wonderful
with
people.
conviction.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And those two little yard rats they have, those
Well,
great kids, they're awesome, and they're in our room and ripping around, pizza
They're,
sauce all over their face, and yard
I
rats.
apologize. I don't know the names of his sons, but
Caden
the
and
one just
Easton.
opened they won the opening tournament
Yeah.
last weekend in wherever they were.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good
So
ball
what
players,
we
too.
do with the boys too is we give them a pizza. Go, listen, Bevel needs one more beer, so have a slice of pizza.
Yeah. All right. Should
good
we
stuff.
crack the seal here?
Yeah, let's crack
right.
the seal.
I'll let you start.
So last week, we had a unicorn happen in baseball. Something that's never, ever happened in one game, literally. Shohei Ohtani sets the 50-50 mark, but he has the game of a lifetime.
Yes.
Of everyone's lifetime.
Yeah. And the stats on that game were just insane.
Yeah,
I felt
ridiculous.
so sorry for that pitcher, the positional pitcher that came in to pitch the
Yeah, I was
night.
going to say it wasn't a
Yeah.
pitcher. The guy
And
in
he
the ninth.
threw up that pizza slice to Ohtani, and he didn't lay off. He bombed that thing out of the stadium.
for the ones that didn't see it, what were his numbers for the game?
Oh, I didn't write his numbers
So
down.
it
If
was-
I can
you got it?
remember,
Yeah.
And don't I think I can. Six
Six or six.
Yeah.
3 home runs,
Yep.
Yes.
18 total bases,
Yep.
Yes.
which was, I think, 2 bases shy of
Yep.
a major league record in and of itself. But he also became the first guy in history to hit 3 home runs in a game, get 6 hits, and steal 2 bases.
And he had 10 RBIs.
10 RBIs.
And had 10
Yeah.
RBIs,
10
just as an afterthought. He had 10
Yeah.
RBIs. The 10 RBIs ended up, but 6 for 6, 3 home runs, 18 total bases because he had 2 doubles as well. In fact, he would have gotten a triple.
Yep.
He would have hit the fourth
He went-
cycle.
yep.
But he got thrown out at third,
Thrown out
trying
at
to
third.
stretch it to a triple.
And he became the inaugural member of the 50-50 club.
And there was no
No.
one. There was a Conseco, I
Yeah.
think, was the 40-40.
40-40.
I honestly think, and I could be wrong, he could do 60 for 60. 60 and 60.
Well, not this season.
Not this
but,
season,
Yeah.
but
Why?
it's possible.
It-
Not enough games left. I don't
How
think.
many
Yeah.
games?
Oh, it's the last week of the season.
Last
There's only
week.
6 games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is it possible?
Wouldn't it
you
be
don't
cool
wanna,
if-
you don't want to
Yeah.
rule out anything?
The guy
but
hits 3
I
home
will
runs
s-
in a
like
game.
he could certainly hit the 6 or 7 home runs he needs.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the stolen bases because they've pretty much clinched a playoff spot, and the Rains.
He'll
might
get some days
back.
off.
'Cause-
And he also might get a couple of days
Yeah.
off from Dave Roberts.
Well, that's fair.
Because there's also talk. Roberts is saying if we get into a crunch in the postseason,
he could.
he could pitch.
Well, listen,
That's
he's
the
doing-
amazing
I
part,
happen to know he's
yeah.
doing bullpen sessions, and you are not doing bullpen sessions when you're building up for next year.
Coming back, he had Tommy John.
He had Tommy John,
Yes.
and that's why he sat this year out. So, like I said, I know
Well,
he's doing bullpens.
Just the DH. He didn't sit.
Well,
No pitching
Right.
or throwing.
That's my
Lest
point is if you're doing bullpens, you are not stretching out for next season.
No.
But it's
You
like
are
we were
prepared
talking
to
about
pitch.
before we came on the air. And as great of a season as Ohtani's having, like he's having a season for the ages. 2 things. One, and I don't want to dwell on it because it's in a negative tone, but I just want to mention it. I read how Ohtani's season this year is Barry Bonds' 11th best year. So you're looking at all those seasons that Barry Bonds, and
good point.
we all know he juiced, and you know it is what it is. It was a different era, but this is like
it was the best era.
Well, he was
It-
one
it
of the
was-
original 30-30 man.
Yeah.
Bonds
Right.
Back
Right.
in the, I want to say the early 90s.
But
Yeah.
you also said Conseco's 40-40 was better because he dated Madonna for a while. So,
Oh,
I don't know. Good
Right.
point, though,
yep,
Razor.
good point.
Well, yeah. But the other thing on a positive note is that, you know, an afterthought is nobody's really talking as much about Aaron Judge's season. Like he's,
How do you hit 55 home runs and nobody talks about it?
exactly. So like, you know, just
Or Lindor.
quick stats. You've got home runs. Judge has 55. Ohtani has 53. RBIs. Judge has 138. Ohtani is 123. Batting average. Judge is hitting 323. Ohtani's hitting 301. Like, and you could go on,
Yeah.
right? Like, the only one that isn't even close is the stolen bases. That's not Judge's thing, but
He does run, Judge. I
Yeah.
think
he
he's
does,
more like
but not
20.
yeah.
Judge,
exactly.
Judge is having a career year.
He's having a great
Bobby
year.
Witt's having a career year for shortstops in KC.
Right, and he has no chance at winning the AL MVP.
Vlad Guerrero's having a career year for the Jays, and
Right.
thank God they only have 1 week left
Right.
because we haven't talked about it at all because
There's no need
it's
to.
nothing to talk about.
No.
Well,
I
that's
just,
right.
Just put them out of their misery.
Yes.
Let's go on to next
Take
year.
him out behind the barn.
Les, do
Way it
you
is.
give huge props to the Marlins? I believe it was the Marlins that played the Marlins manager that kept pitching to him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I loved what he said. He said we don't do baseball justice if we pitch around them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's the way he had to think of it. It's not fair to him, right? And I props because you could read his lips because
He said F that.
Yeah,
We're
because
not
the-
pitching
the-
around him. Yep.
the home plate umpire's looking at him, literally waiting for him to say put him on. He's going, F that. We're pitching to him.
In fairness, it was 17-3 at
Yeah.
the time, so
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
who cares
But-
really?
But
All
when
we're
we say
doing
F
now is-
that, we mean Fangulo.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So the other number that seems to be lost in all this, and maybe the most impressive number of all, is the fact that the Chicago White Sox have lost
117.
120 ball games.
Yeah.
They're 35 and 120. Man, you could try the rest of your life and not
But-
lose 120 ball games.
The thing is
You
for
can hit
them-
lots of guys are going to hit 50 home runs. Lots of guys are going to hit 300. But try losing 120
Wow.
Yeah.
out of 160.
Enter the room, Brian Hawley.
Oh my
The,
God.
the thing is for them,
Biblical.
you
in
got
nature.
the unicorn on the West Coast doing his thing. You got Judge on the East Coast. Nobody's looking at the White Sox.
And in Chicago, they have clearly.
How good would that be, though, for a World Series with L.A. versus New York?
Yeah.
Like, I know
Classic.
it would be like a dream matchup.
You know MLB wants it. You
Oh,
know,
for
the
sure.
TV people sure want it.
For
That's
sure. Like, that
It's
would
just,
bring
I
back.
don't think the Yankees can uphold the. Like Baltimore's going to be.
Baltimore's going to be tough.
They're stumbling and
Well,
bumbling right
yeah.
now, but
Yankees
What
are-
were you saying? Rope-a-dope for the Yankees.
But the thing about like it'll bring me back to like the 70s when you had Reggie Jackson and Greg
Against,
Nettles against
Ron
Say
and
and,
Steve Garvey.
oh
yeah,
my
right.
God,
Absolutely.
like
But here,
Just
it
fantastic
Yeah.
stories.
You heard it here first. Cleveland's going to spoil the party.
Yeah,
Yep.
Cleve. Oh my gosh.
No
Couldn't
one's
agree with
talking
you more,
about them,
Holly.
right?
They
Yeah.
they clinched 2 nights ago.
they've
those-
quietly
those
gone
two
about their
Canadian-
business.
Those
They
two Canadian
have-
boys.
They have it's
The whole
not-
team.
Or
The whole team.
don't count
And the
out Rob
pitching.
Thompson and the Phillies,
It's-
right? Like they're hungry.
Cleveland has
They're
a
hungry.
legendary bullpen.
Yes.
If they have a lead after 5 innings, they're going to
Do-
win the game.
Does Cleveland not have two Canadians in the bullpen as well?
Is Gaddis Canadian?
Yeah, and they just called up a kid a couple weeks ago that's Canadian from out west, and he's been on fire.
Yeah, I heard about him, but I can't remember his name now.
I think you're right, Les.
Like they're the Canadian team.
Yeah. South of the border.
South of the
Is
border,
Francona
right?
still managing?
No,
them?
he's not. It's
Okay.
it's Vogt now.
Yeah.
Okay.
In his first year as a manager, who's going to win Manager of the Year.
Wow.
And a team that has given away more talent than some teams have on
Yeah.
their roster. When you think about what Cleveland's done over the last few years,
Yeah.
Yep.
they've given away Frankie Lindor. They've given away 2 or 3 Cy Young Award winners. and
100%.
Guys like Clevenger and
Yep.
Bauer and another one that I'm forgetting now. But because every time a guy, with the exception of Ramirez, anytime a guy starts to be eligible to make more than $10 million a year, they
Bye-bye.
try-
Well, it's like what's going to happen in KC with Witt,
Yeah,
right?
Well, they extended him.
yeah.
Oh,
He's the
did
one
they?
guy. Yeah, you
Oh,
got to
okay.
keep the franchise.
Yeah.
But everybody
Okay.
else, you're right. Everybody else, as soon
Yeah.
as they start
Yeah.
making some
Well,
money.
because after they won
go
the
to
World Series, like they ended up having to let all their guys go, right?
Yeah. Cleaned
Like
house, yep,
we,
because they
we're
couldn't
not going to
afford it.
pay them. We want to. The owner chose to make money rather than have a winner. And I know I'm beating a dead horse, but that's one of the things I love about New York. Now, do they have riches that most teams don't? Yes, they do, but they could make way more money with an average team. They want to win, though. LA wants to win. So those guys go out and pay for winners and end up like winning. Like you're paying a guy $700 million, right? Like who knew that he was going to have this season? Like it's just turned out to be a Cinderella story for the
Well, then,
Dodgers this
yeah.
year with Otani.
And then the Yankees, everybody's talking Judge, and nobody's talking about Soto, who's
Soto,
who's
right?
going to get paid this summer.
He's going to get
You
it.
know.
Soto is the real deal.
He's going to
Yeah. Oh,
break
he certainly
Judge's
and
contract.
he'll be in New York.
Absolutely.
So everybody just listen for Soto's on his way to Toronto because it's going to come.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to happen.
He's
people.
going to use Toronto
Yeah, as leverage.
As leverage. That's exactly what he's
Just
doing.
like
think-
Look at this. I'm going to screw Toronto too.
just like Otani did.
Do you think Otani? Do you think he bet on the 50-50? Sorry, is that too early?
No,
Or with his,
no.
no. Do you think he bet like he had that?
Oh, his
He might,
interpreter.
his interpreter.
Everybody
might.
has an interpreter now.
I don't buy his interpreter. I think he bet on
Man, I
everything.
love it. I love it. Yeah.
No, I don't think his interpreter bet on that because by the sound of it, his interpreter couldn't pick a winner if he felt.
They said his interpreter had won like $2 million in bets, but he had lost like $4 or $5 million.
Betting on baseball, I just don't want to even go there.
Yeah,
I just finished watching the Charlie Hustle and the Pete Rose guy documentary.
Oh,
Fabulous.
that would be amazing.
Fabulous.
I'd
Not
like to
watched
see that.
Fabulous.
No doubt.
It's pretty. Pete Rose is he's a guy. He'll tell you like it is.
Oh yeah,
And it's totally honest.
he's raw.
Yeah.
He is raw. Like and let's face it, like
If somebody deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, that's the guy right there.
Well,
I don't
and-
care because he bet on baseball.
Here-
Because
and he was
everybody
on his
bets
way.
on sports.
He was on his way. Like he went from being banned and never had a chance to go into the Hall of Fame.
Who?
Pete Rose. Or no, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
No, he's not.
No, he's banned from the Hall of Fame, but he had every
Yeah.
right to be there.
Sure.
He's the leading hitter of
Absolutely.
all
He's
time.
the
Absolutely.
all-time leader
Yeah,
in hits.
easy.
Absolutely, but no, I was just alluding to that because of his gambling. He'll, I forget the commissioner that said that he would never
Bart
get in.
Giamatti.
Bart Giamatti, and then
Yeah.
died 5 days later.
Yeah, and so then he said that Rose will never get into the Hall of Fame. But things softened a few years ago, and we're going to the point where Rose had said, yes, I had gambled. Yes, I was wrong. And then I don't know what happened, but things took a bad turn.
Watch
and-
the documentary because
Okay.
his son states it perfectly. He said, "My dad will be in the Hall of Fame, but he'll be dead when he gets there."
And that's unfortunate.
Well, and one of their
right?
biggest sponsors is a freaking gambling site.
Yeah.
You've got
Well, look at the
FanDuel.
NHL these
Yeah,
days.
absolutely.
Look at the NHL. Janet always makes a comment like, "Why is it 365 bet? Blah 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 blah. All these betting sites." And then they frown upon it.
DraftKings,
Well, just everything.
FanDuel.
Like
Well,
it's
there's
stupid.
betting on a sport, and then there's betting on games in which you are involved.
Well,
For sure.
Oh, that's fair.
100%.
So
One
I get
or
it.
on the
Listen,
sport.
Pete Rose was one of my heroes growing up, but I cannot stand here and say
Well, you can't
he should
condone
be in
that.
the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own games.
Yeah.
And he's
Oh,
like,
okay.
what's the problem? I bet us to win. Nobody, that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You're
you're
admitting-
too close to the
You're
fire.
admitting you're betting to
Right.
win, but you're not telling us about whether, you will never be honest about whether you bet us to lose. And that might have been the biggest bet of all.
Now, to his defense, there's never been a bookie come out and say that Pete Rose bet against his team, but it's very cloudy. I totally get what you're saying. I agree
how do
with a
you
lot of
argue
things.
the number one hits king in the MLB and bet against himself?
Do you know the other thing?
That's the thing.
He was
I'm
a
not saying-
manager. Now, he was the manager at the time he wasn't playing.
Oh, okay.
What
He
I
was the
didn't
manager of the Reds.
What I didn't realize, and it must be right because it was on the Jumbotron. We were in Buffalo, and I seen on the Jumbotron. He's played the most games too. I thought Ripken played the most games.
That was
Ripken played the most
consecutive.
consecutive
Fox,
games.
right?
Consecutively.
But it said Rose played the most games. I didn't know that either.
He played till he was 40.
Played for the Expos
Charlie Hustle.
Played for the Phillies, played for the Reds, played for the Expos.
because they talk in the
I
documentary.
think that's it.
Pete Rose bet for his team to win. He never threw games like the White Sox, Black Sox, whatever you want to call them. Back in there, they threw games to
Right.
lose.
Kind of like this year with the White Sox. They're throwing games.
That's a good one.
Nobody's making any money off the White Sox this year.
I wonder who bet for them to lose 120 games.
And
You'd have got a nice long odd on that.
Yeah.
we can go on and on
Yeah.
if you want.
You can.
That's great. Something that I would really like to bring up is the first jersey for the Toronto Raptors to go to the rafters will be number 15, Vince Carter.
Yep.
Vince Carter.
I think it's well deserved. There's a lot.
100%.
There's a lot of people
Yeah.
that don't. I don't know why.
It was a bad breakup
Holly, you say
when he
what?
left.
It was a bad break.
Yes.
And that's the only thing I see the problem is.
Can
Here's-
you argue the
I-
tenure there?
It's not that I'm going to argue against it happening.
Because it's
per
going to
se.
happen anyways. But
It's going to happen. Nobody,
Yeah.
outside of this room and maybe 5
that's
or 10
fair.
of those people, nobody gives a shit
There
what
is
I think.
2 people watching.
But I remember, and I was a big Raptors fan, and I remember when he took the world by storm, won the dunk contest, and he put this team on the map.
Yeah.
They were just that team up in Canada with the stupid purple uniforms, and nobody cared about them. They were a moribund franchise. And then all of a sudden they became good. And they had Tracy McGrady.
Yeah.
Stoudemire.
And they had Stoudemire, and they had Carter, and the big fella played for the Knicks, not Ewing, the
Oakley.
other.
Oakley, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
They
yeah.
were suddenly relevant. And then Vince goes and wins, not just wins the slam dunk competition, but does it with such
Dunks
bravado.
we've
Flair.
never seen
Like
before.
he had
With
it,
such
and
bravado.
after he won, like after he
over.
dunked, he
Yeah, and it
Oh.
it made for great TV.
It did.
And everybody, it was one of the original, everybody going nuts when a guy makes it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was huge. Okay, so I grant him that.
Innovative.
Having said that, it was 2 years later when he went up to the rim, had a wide open lane, and laid it up.
Yep.
And after the game, he was asked by a reporter, dunking's overrated. Dunking's overrated. You know what? And they were losing because McGrady buggered off for the money down
Right.
in Orlando. Oakley had retired. Stoudemire was now gone to Portland, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Gaiman?
it was just Vince.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just Vince.
No Todd.
That's
Gotta be
different
quick
names.
with less, eh?
Stottlemyre versus. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you were.
He quit. He quit playing.
Yeah.
He quit on the team. And that's why there are so many Raptors fans that hate him. And I was there in the playoffs when Toronto played New Jersey with Jason Kidd at point guard and Vince Carter playing for the Nets after he had quit on his team. And that is enough for me.
Holly, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't
It
know
doesn't
that.
matter what he did as a player, short of maybe bringing a
I
championship.
retort my endorsement. That's
So-
ridiculous.
He quit on this team, and everybody who was close to the team knew he quit on the team, forced a trade, and because he forced a trade, they got nothing back for him.
No.
Here's a
No.
guy, Vince Carter, who was whether he was one of the top 5 players in the league or not, by reputation, he was selling tickets and was huge for anything, for any team that wanted to get him. But Toronto couldn't get anything back for him because he quit on them. And he set this franchise back 5 years. And
He
it
did.
wasn't until Masai Ujiri
Ujiri.
came along and resurrected the franchise. And so now you want to retire his number?
Well,
No, thank you.
it's got a lot to
That's
do with
interesting,
the
Holly.
anniversary.
That's interesting.
It's 30-year anniversary of the team, right? And it's got a lot to do.
You want to retire a jersey, retire Mo Pete.
Or the junkyard dog.
The JYD, man. Absolutely.
So just to clarify, you don't think
Yeah.
I
So-
know,
Oh, man.
a lot
We're
of
working
times-
on our feelings.
A lot of times
Is
when
there
I come
any
on here,
chance
people
you
don't know
can-
how I feel about things. I'm trying to make it clear when I'm sitting.
I've never seen
folks
smoke
know I'm
come
no
out.
one
confused.
no one likes the gray area?
If Kyle Lowry was retired, it would be his jersey going up there.
If
But-
there's going to be one name up there, I don't
Yeah.
want it to be his.
yeah.
Okay,
Amen.
that's fair.
All right. Well,
right.
I want to quickly just do the Junior B this weekend. Stratford had a 4-point weekend again, so they're 4-0.
A flair for dramatic.
Oh, yes. Friday night, it's going down. General and I had talked about going to overtime. Stratford hadn't been there yet, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, Hodge picks up the puck, throws it at the net. Drew Slattery with the beautiful tip with 17.1 seconds left. His first GOJHL goal. So that's one he's always going to remember. Then Sunday, we go down to Elmira. Elmira puts on a great ceremony for former players and people that were part of the team. Daryl Sittler was there. Garrett Rank was there. The ceilings were there, and it was great. They go up 2-0, and then they give it all back, and it's tied. We're getting late in the third, and Reese Brown scores a howitzer from the slot, ties up the game. We're finally going to go to overtime, 3-on-3 overtime in Junior B with kids that can skate. Oh my God,
yeah.
it's just so fast.
Yeah.
And then Slattery sets up the winner for Jack McGurn to get the winner, his second goal of the game. So he had his first GOJHL goal earlier in the game. And Stratford's got another top performer of the week in the go.
That's awesome.
So they're 4-0, heading to London Wednesday night. But what a weekend.
I like the and thanks for that, Les, because it's important. I like the approach that Clarkey takes with the team. You want to do a full circuit through the league, understand different teams. They've seen the Sugar Kings twice, which is crazy to think.
It was just a flip flop of the week before.
Yeah.
We played the Kings Friday night, and then Elmira.
Kamoka and
It's
that.
all Kings all the time, it seems like.
But now you're going to start seeing more of the league. Like,
Do you think Clarkey celebrated with a Mennonite tart in Elmira? Those things are outstanding. I know they sell them at the arena. I bet you he did. I bet you he had more than one. And Willie probably elbowed him for one.
This is what I want to say. Doing the broadcast now, I just got to get away from that one. This is what I want to say. Doing the broadcast now for the Junior B team. We are so lucky here in Stratford with what we have.
Mm-hmm.
I was calling the game in Elmira, and there's a metal girder here and a metal girder here, and I'm leaning on the table trying to see the whole ice surface to call the game. And you go up to the almond, you go up in the press box, and you can see the whole ice surface. I might be hanging out the window to see it in the corners, but at least you can see it.
Yeah.
I've been in some weird places, and that's
But,
one of the worst.
Tip of the cap to the Stratford Warriors off to a 4-0 start. And the thing that that I appreciate about the hockey club and the people who manage it and coach it and all that. They're very humble people. They're still looking to see what's going to happen. Apparently Clarkie was saying that the Sugar Kings are going to be a powerhouse. Yeah. It's obvious they're not in full stride yet, which is fine. You're going to see them at some point.
They had played the night before, and you could tell the legs were a little rubbery,
fair.
But
just really happy with
a great start.
The back-to-back performance of the week 2. Aiden Hill at his debut Friday night.
Yep. I took a picture of his dad sitting over there, and I just messaged it and put it on Facebook. That looks like one nervous father.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, and it strikes me that this the Clarkie kind of played a little coy with us when he was on the show. This team is not nearly as young as we were all led to believe that they were going to be. They are young.
They are young.
They've got
13 rookies.
Yeah,
I know that, but they've got some good leadership in that group as well.
Well, they do for sure.
Cole Lewis again. He didn't get any points, but he comes up in. If you listen to the Braga, I'm always saying his name because he's always out there, important parts of the game. He's out there with the face-off. He's just all over the ice, and he's just having a great year.
And what is it? 5 Americans.
5 Americans.
4 from Michigan.
Yep.
One, and what's his name from Ohio? I forget his name. I'm bad for names, anyways.
Yeah.
That fella from Ohio, the one with the nose.
Yeah, you'll have to get used to that because Hawley's going to join me in a couple weeks for a couple broadcasts.
I'm excited to make my debut with the Warriors.
Yeah,
next week.
congratulations, Hawley.
Yeah, another congratulations.
Yeah.
One of the good things, many things about Clarkie, but with talking to him over the summer too, because let's say Junior B is a stepping stone, so you're going to lose some players. But the beauty in Clarkie is the right mentality on this one is, let's not worry about who we don't have. Let's worry about who we do have, and I think it's awesome. 4-0 start.
Yeah, he came on the broadcast Friday night, and his scouting staff does an amazing job.
Sure they do.
Picking these kids out. You got to get the right chemistry together too. But I also say they got 7 kids hurt right now, so they had to call up a kid just to ice a team. 11. They only had 11 forwards Sunday afternoon, and it's
have you
tough
seen
when
the
everybody's
nature
hurt.
of Junior B generally is you don't really know what you have until Christmas.
That's right. Yep.
And
Well said.
you're
Well
seeing
said.
Once
it,
through the league, like Clarkie was saying.
Yeah, you're seeing it in St. Mary's as well. They started off 3-0, had a big game in Chatham. They probably stole one against Heads Up, a very, very good LaSalle team. They're going to be one of the top 3 teams in that conference, I think. They play really fast. They're good sized. They have really good goaltending, good first pass out of their defense.
Have you seen Lewis without a smile?
No, never.
What a great person
Yeah.
to have.
Always smile. He'll talk to. He says hi all the time. How's it going? He'll sit there.
Clarkie summed it up. He goes, "Coach's dream."
Oh my God!
But we talked about it. It comes from his parents too.
His old man's the same way.
Yeah.
He just never.
Robbie
every time
Lou.
you see him, Robbie, it's just on his face.
Well, we said local legend, right?
Yeah.
Playing in City League.
I just wanted to say, over the course of 4 games, there's some really nice distribution of offense, which is really great. You had Louis last week with 6 points in the first 2 games. You got Dax Vader with a couple goals. Jacob Wiseman, the Michigan native, 6'1", 185, big presence out there,
He reminds me of the defenseman that plays with no thought on the repercussions of what's going to happen to him when he goes in to make a play or make a hit or dive in front of a puck. It's just – and he must have played soccer. Him and Louis must have played soccer at some time because they're kicking the puck halfway down the ice. It's just wild. These kids just they just go.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun season.
It is.
And, from what we hear, you're doing a great job too, Les. So congratulations on that.
We have
so
some
far.
audio problems every now and then. But
we used to
guys
on this
knew.
show, but we made the right moves and had to do what we had to do. Just kidding.
we might have to bring a repair down for every game. But
Yeah. Well, just send them
But
the
other than
invoice, Dylan and Cam. No problem about that. But it's been great, guys.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get to the NHL next week.
Some
It's
other
just the
time.
first week, man.
No, it's been
we'll
great.
get it.
The focus of importance was with the Stratford Fighting Irish organization here, and it's been great.
Yeah. Really appreciate the 2 of you coming on, and guys, we're just super blessed to have you a part of the Armchair Chirpers and vice versa, and looking forward to an amazing season.
All the best this year, Pie.
It's our pleasure. Again, I've said before, I won't take too much more of the time. We couldn't be doing this without people in town and to be partnered up with you. And I'll talk to Mo to see if we can get a Les Vader's night. But no, it's awesome, and you are doing a good job.
Yeah.
$3 Les Vader
Yeah.
beer night.
We'll get
Drink
Mace,
night.
Mason up in the armchair.
Black
Chirpers zone.
Zambuca. And,
No way.
Lester,
Not a
the
chance.
beauty is I can be your DD.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, and fun fact, on Les Vader's night, Les is the referee.
Well, it can't be any worse than what.
Yikes.
Oh, am I
Well,
supposed
if
to
you
say
talk to Les, he's better than anybody else we know.
Yikes.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I'm
Love
glad we
it.
did.
No,
I'm
I
glad
just-
we didn't get into
You
that.
know, the good thing
Hey,
is they
folks.
can skate, and I don't skate very well. So
Folks, come out, see the Irish, bring your used hockey equipment to the home opener, and come up and have a few drinks and socialize in the Armchair Chirper Zone. We'd love to have your presence and look forward to seeing everybody in 11 days. So go Irish.
And just to dispel the rumor, we thought on the equipment day we were getting Jamie Petrie's jockstrap.
we asked,
The Hall of
that's,
Fame won't release it.
but that's why we asked for no undergarments too.
That's right.
Yeah.
guys, it's always a blast.
Yeah.
You know you'll be back, and endless thank you to you
Keep up
guys.
the great work, fellas.
Yeah,
I love it.
A lot of fun. Thanks for having us, guys.
All right. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. You just start the conversation.
Absolutely.
And thanks everyone, and be sure to tune into our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram primarily. We've always got updated information, some fun facts, and we really appreciate all of your support. Thanks everyone.
Touchdown, Buffalo.
Good night.
Nice.